Chat. We are back with the worst series I've ever done. Gosh. We are back with one of the worst. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's like... I did not think this would take 3 days to do. I'm gonna be dead honest. I did not think this would take 3 days to do this. But, yeah, let's just continue, I guess. We're getting straight to it. Matter of fact, I need to actually change the title because, I have not, because it has not tagged, Malad, and I always do that. So he can see it. And should I tell him he hasn't? I don't know. Should we? No, nobody's told me I can't. So I'm just gonna tell him one time. Also, guys, by the way, this is the last night we're doing this until Wednesday. So if you are liking this series, you're gonna have to wait for a little bit. Okay, I just sent him another message. Okay, let's go. We have the hop to the counter. Oh, I know this one. I like this.
Millard Duck. Has anyone tried to go behind the counter and make their sub themselves? So I've seen plenty of
These
clips on
names are
YouTube and
insane.
on TikTok of these people that just hop behind the counter of McDonald's or something and just start making their own burger and fries or even their own like sandwich. And I do have a couple of funny stories about this topic, but I've never had a random person come into my store and just hop the counter and start making their sandwich. But I did have a sandwich stolen from me by the legend himself, Dylan LeMay. And this video was actually completely in the moment. Like me and Dylan were sitting there in my Subway and we were like, what would be a funny video? And Dylan was like, yo, let me get a sub from you, like steal a sub, and then just walk out. And we did it from both of our perspectives, and we each got like 18 million views on this video on TikTok. It was completely scripted. I mean, obviously Dylan's not walking.
Yo, what up, Axton Weber? How you doing?
Just for the memes and the fun. But people were so confused because it's stacked up on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts one after another. So it's as if somebody just saw somebody stole a sandwich and then saw the Subway worker get their sandwich stolen. But I think
Doing
the
great.
only times I've ever had somebody that's never actually worked at Subway come in and try to make their own sandwich was a few times with Dylan, another TikToker named It's Savage, and a story with one of my coworkers actually. So when Dylan made his first sandwich, he was actually not too bad at it at all. I think that experience working at Cold Stone and in fast food really helped him out in this, because once you make your first sandwich, it's pretty easy to make the rest, if I'm being honest. But he literally just made one sandwich and then was slinging sandwiches at Free Cookie Day like it was nobody's business. So I guess you could say Dylan basically hopped behind the
I
counter
will
and
not
started
be, because I've been
making
doing a
his own
series
subs,
for
and
the
it came
past
out delicious.
this
Now,
is the
next
third
person might
day
have
that
been
we're
It's
watching every
Savage.
one of
He's
this man's
popular
videos.
TikToker, and he's a pretty cool dude too. He came into the store,
Tuesday
stood
night
behind
though,
the
I'll have a
counter to
buddy
work
over and
with
we're gonna
me,
be playing a
and he
few
made something
games
called a
for New
blue
Year's.
Taki pizza. Now I made a video on this before, but I had no intention
Specifically
of letting him
bought
and his brother
a
behind
little
the counter to
toy
make
for
food.
this.
They basically just hopped behind back there and they were like, Millard, let's make some sub. And I was like, you know what? Why not, right? When in a TikTok collaboration, you gotta do it all. So we had a contest between him, his brother, and his brother's friend. His brother's friend made a wrap with some hot Cheetos in it. His brother just made a classic steak sandwich that was really good.
Yeah, I have a buddy over here who has been in
so good. And then It's Savage turned out making a blue Taki pizza.
technically
I
only
have never
one
experienced
in real
anything
life, but
like
he's
that in the world.
been
And I wish wish I could say that
Yo,
I enjoyed
what's
that
up?
blue taco pizza, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't think blue takis belong on pizza, and it was no stage 3 pizza, so you already know. But still, major props. All three of them basically just hopped behind the counter and started making some food. Yo, low-key, I've always thought about this.
I do
What
play
if I just
Fortnite.
went to a
Not
random
nearly as much as
Subway
I used to,
dressed in a
but I
Subway
do
uniform and tried to
sometimes.
make my own sandwich behind the counter? I mean, that's a terrible idea, and I'd probably
You just
get
look at a few
arrested, but I
past
think it would
streams
be
and
so
you'll
fun. Maybe one
see
day, but
quite a
no
bit of
time
that.
soon. Oh, this is a random thing. If there's any Subways out there that want me to come behind the counter and make a Subway sandwich, I think it'd be a funny YouTube video. Hit me up in the Instagram DM. And last but not least, I had a coworker, super nice kid, super outgoing, very fun. But he came to me and he
Not
said,
that
"Can my
high.
friend come behind the
I can
counter
check
and make
quick,
his own
though.
Subway sandwich?" Now, as much as I would love to let your friend come behind the counter, this is a Subway, matter of fact, and I could get in so much trouble for letting your friend make his own sandwich. It took so much to be able to have the collaborations at the Subway that I did. Like, there's a lot behind the scenes that you guys don't even see, but having some random person come into the store.
Hold on. We're just gonna do that so that way y'all
Or
can
just
see
get
it.
behind the counter,
Let me
breaks
get the
every
chat
single food law. It would
up on
just
my
be
phone.
unsanitary too, and especially I don't like train them and I'm not there. That's a very big risk to undertake. So we couldn't let him hop behind the counter and just make his own sandwich. Yo, and this makes me remember something else. I had a little kid once that opened the door to the back and started to just walk in and waddle around. I wish I had this on video, but this was so funny. It was literally like a toddler, and they wanted to grab their cookie themselves.
Maybe
They literally
next,
came behind the counter.
maybe
I was like,
Tuesday
"Whoa,"
night,
I said to
I'll
parents, I
see.
was like, wait, your kid's like back here. I don't think he should be back here. And
But
the old
I'll
Subway
give you my
used to happen
name
all the
on
time because
when I
there was
just.
a door to the back, and everybody used to think it was the bathroom. So they would literally just walk through that door and be in the back of Subway, and I'm like, I'm not
Yeah,
getting
I'll
robbed
just-
right now, right? So yeah, to date, nobody's hopped behind the counter and made their own sandwich, but I guess never say never, right? I really hope it doesn't happen. I mean, that would be really awkward. I guess for now, we just gotta enjoy the viral memes on the internet of this happening. Until next time, lads, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications because it helps us so much.
Okay. PewDiePie Subway order is.
These are the Subway sandwiches that I would imagine every YouTuber getting. So we're going to start with the most obvious and easiest one. Dylan LeMay, aka the Ice Cream Man, would 100% get an ice cream sub. Funny thing is, we've made an ice cream sub together before, but it's literally just putting ice cream and ice cream toppings onto sandwich bread.
Let me
Mwah,
put it
delicious.
in
Next,
the-
we're going to do Mr. Beast, quite literally the goat of YouTube. I already know that this man is getting a
I'll put it in
cookie
the chat
sub.
for
He
you.
would 100% get all the cookies across the menu, slap them onto some bread, and then eat it. He might even get it toasted, who knows. Next is another good friend of mine, Brent Television, aka Brent TV. Brent's Subway sandwich order is a little more on the simple side.
There you go.
I already know
That's
the
my
man would
name.
just get a
You can send me
SpongeBob
a friend request
popsicle
and
and
we
throw
can-
it onto some bread. So I guess him and Dylan can both get
We
ice
might
cream
even be able to
subs,
play
huh? Next
tonight
up,
if
we'll do
you're
the
still
infamous
up after I'm
Logan
done with
Paul.
this.
Now, I don't know much about the lad, but I think it's safe to say that Logan Paul would literally just get turkey and mayo
Okay.
onto some bread.
Nice.
You know, I could be completely wrong. This just feels like a Logan Paul sandwich.
Yeah,
And
that's
next,
my
I'm
name.
gonna do
Yeah, that's my user.
Markiplier. Now, I feel like Markiplier is a little bit more of a sophisticated one. So my prediction for Markiplier sandwich is going to be an
Oh, shoot.
Italian BMT with the works. We're talking lettuce, tomato, onions, oil, vinegar, and mayo, and maybe some provolone cheese onto it. Once again, I could be completely wrong, but I just
won't
feel
be able
like
to
this is
accept
such
it for a little bit, but-
Markiplier sub. And who knows, you might even smash it and eat it like that, like a smash burger. Next up, we're gonna do PewDiePie, an instant classic. First, I feel like PewDiePie wouldn't even eat at Subway if I'm being completely honest. But I think if he had to choose something, PewDiePie seems like the type that would get a salad, maybe like a chicken teriyaki salad. And I know he's gonna put Chipotle Southwest sauce on it because he loves that nice kick. And maybe he'll put some sub spice. Get it? Subs, huh? Next up, we're gonna do Mark Rober. Now, Mark Rober would literally just design a robot to design a perfect Subway sandwich for him. I don't think Mark would ever let a human being
facts.
touch his delicious Subway.
That's
my
so true,
prediction is
though.
he's just gonna get a robot to slap on some mayonnaise, turkey, and cheese onto a sandwich, and he'll close it up and call it a day. Could be completely wrong, but let me know, Mark, if that's what you're doing. Engineered that thing. Next up, Carl Jacobs. I know exactly what Carl would get. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I feel like I have it down to a T. I feel like Carl would literally just get Italian bread and then every single type of cheese onto the sandwich, toast it, and call it a day. Basically the equivalent of a Subway grilled cheese sub.
Alright, I'll
You know,
accept
it's
it in a little
simple,
bit.
but delicious. And finally, we're gonna say the Dream sub. So Dream loves to just overcomplicate things and make them as fast as possible. So I literally do not think this man would care about whatever sandwich is made for him as long as it's a sub 30 39-second sandwich. Anything over a 39-second sandwich, which is the world record, by the way, I feel like Dream simply would not ever touch. But no matter what he's getting on it, I feel like he's an oil and vinegar type of guy. And he's definitely putting lettuce on that sub. I already know that. I mean, everyone would, right? But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed these YouTuber subs. Tell me which ones you think I got wrong or right. And be sure to subscribe, like the video, and turn on bell notifications. I love you. Peace.
Peace. Oh. Should I drop out?
So one of my friends has recently decided that he wanted to drop out of college, and during the process he asked me a ton of information, a ton of pieces of my advice. So I thought, what better way than to make a YouTube video for hundreds of thousands of people who might even actually go through this same exact thing. And don't worry, I got full permission from my friend to make this video before even making this video. By the way, we're making ramen today with an egg in it. I thought, what better way than to talk about college than to just make ramen. I mean, it's the signature for any college student. It's so easy to make. So obviously every single situation is different. If you have something extremely important and vital to your career lined up and it interferes with whatever you're doing in college, you obviously have to get out of college, you know. But if you simply are not enjoying the classes that you're going to and enjoying the process of being a college student, I think your first step is to ask why. What about the school or college experience makes it unbearable for you? Is it the fact that you have to do homework? Is it the tests and the exams? Is it that you don't feel like you're getting any value out of the school? If it's simply the fact that you're getting challenged and you don't enjoy the challenge, well, I have a newsflash for you. You have a lot of challenges to go in life, my friend. And a lot of them are actually going to be even harder than any exam or test you take in college. And if you drop out, well,
you're cooked.
Life may just come crashing down whenever you face any challenge at all, but what's important is that you just clean up the mess. If you can learn to just clean up whatever mess that you've created, especially when it comes to college or even your grades or anything, you're going to be able to face so much more adversity in life and be able to get through and become so much more successful at anything that you do. And no, I am not saying don't drop out of college. I'm not saying stay in school. I'm not saying do drop out of college and don't stay in school. What I'm simply saying is that every single challenge that you're presented with has some way of cleaning up the mess, and if you can learn how to do that, you'll be able to solve any problem throughout life. And I wish I took my own advice with cleaning up the mess with these dishes, because boy, that's a lot of dirty dishes. I would be a hypocrite to say that I didn't think about dropping out of college. I mean, literally every single year of my 4 years at college, I was trying to find a way to drop out. I mean, in my opinion, I thought I was pretty good at school. I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but I got pretty good grades, but it just wasn't fulfilling to me. Sure, I met cool people in the process and I had a lot of friends at my school, but I just couldn't figure out why I didn't enjoy school. It was like I was listening to somebody else speak about something all day long, and it was almost as if I wouldn't be able to have my own prolific thoughts and be able to share them with anybody. It was literally like I have to listen to this professor speak and say yes sir the whole time. And the biggest thing to me was that half of the time most of the students knew even more than the professor about whatever topic they were talking about. So taking all of these things into consideration, my senior year of school, I started to blow up on TikTok and YouTube, and I had this serious question. Do I quite literally drop everything I've been working for the past 3.5 years to pursue this new dream that I am obsessed with only 19 credits left to graduate? And in the end, I learned that I could have it all. I just finished off my courses and I got to graduate with all my classmates, and you know, I think it was a great decision. I mean, like, I could have easily just been like, nope, I'm making enough money off of this new thing to just abandon this old thing, but you don't want to really like abandon something that you put so much time into already. But on the other hand, if I was like a sophomore and I didn't put too much time into this other thing, like if I didn't put too much time into college, I totally would have just dropped out and pursued YouTube and TikTok full time. It is so obvious that these days you don't need a college degree to be successful in this world. You can literally do anything you want with the internet. But back in the day when the dinosaurs roamed the earth and boomers were in charge of everything, I'm sorry boomers, I don't mean it like that. I love you all. I don't mean it like that. It's just a joke, please. But seriously, back in the day, most of our parents didn't have this option. Our grandparents 100% didn't have this option. So it was entirely either college or bust for them, which is why we see so many people of the older generation discuss how important college really is. And we see so many people of this younger and newer generation talk about how much of a scam college really is. And yo, I never even talked about this, but I was so blessed not to have any student loans because I worked hard in high school and got a full ride scholarship to my school. But if you are taking taking out hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans, yo, this is my piece of advice. Run as fast as you can away from that school, because that debt is not going away anytime soon. And that's the one thing that I say avoid, is avoid debt at all costs. I know people that literally make it into their 50s and have just stopped paying their student loan. And for my last
I know people are still paying the student loans and they're in their 50s.
piece of advice, it's simply to just enjoy whatever you're doing in the moment, because at the end of the day, life is a gift.
Monopoly Man came to my store. That's hard to believe.
Ladies
Didn't know he
and
existed.
gentlemen, lads from all over the world, gather around. We have quite the story today. So a few months back, while I was at work at Subway, I was going through the motions, going through my normal shift. Business as usual. We had a few customers online. I was with one other coworker, and all of a sudden, a man walks through the door. Now, this is no ordinary man. This man is quite literally the resemblance of the Monopoly Man in the flesh and blood.
What was this video quality?
Now, when I say this man walked in with a cane and a monocle, and I would guarantee that he probably had something like $10,000 in cash in his back pocket just for somebody to wipe his shoes. Now, he is the embodiment of exactly what the Monopoly Man represents. And when I had to deliver a sandwich to this customer with my bare hands, the man simply was not appeased at all. It seemed like every single thing that I was doing for his sandwich, he would critique something, but once we really got down to the nitty-gritty of it and I started to ask him how his day was, your boy Millard completely flipped the conversation. It's crazy because this man came in with a little bit of an attitude. Okay, maybe not a little bit, but a lot of bit of an attitude. And the second that I asked a simple question like, how is your day going? His entire demeanor just flipped. Okay, but like, I'm not kidding when I say this man like literally looked like the Monopoly Man. Like, I literally thought to myself, I have to make a video about this. Went to my notepad and my notes and just wrote down this video idea. And today I read my notes and I was like, yo, this just buried the most deeply hidden memory of my entire life. Okay, maybe not that extreme, but it was pretty deep. It was pretty deep. Now, as I was getting him his sandwich, and obviously you got it toasted in the toaster oven, I started to ask him, what do you do for a living? I wasn't like Daniel Mack going up to this random person in a car and saying, what do you do for a living? But instead, at my Subway, I simply just wanted to know. The man seemed like he was of very high stature. I mean, he is the Monopoly Man. And he created this kind of aroma around him where he was just better than everyone else.
Let's
Obviously,
go.
He wasn't. That's a joke. But at the end of the
I'm
day, he
green
told me that
screen.
he actually
Yay.
sells insurance to people. And I was like, huh. So this man has to wear a suit every day to work, literally wears a monocle around, and is probably making more money than I'll ever see in my life selling insurance. But I get to make delicious sandwiches, so who's the real winner here? At the end of the day, he seemed like a nice guy, as do most of my employees at the Subway. But it just goes to show that just because somebody looks like the Monopoly Man, maybe they're not in the best headspace at all times. You know, money doesn't make the character. I think who you are makes who you are. Put that on the subreddit. And at the end of the day, something as small as asking somebody how their day is going and taking interest in who they are, well, that might just turn their attitude 180 full way around. So the moral of the story, kids, if you see a Monopoly Man out there on the streets, ask them how they're doing.
Okay, chat. Let's go. Bro, I have to scroll entirely too much just to get to this. So we're skipping these and we're going to do these on their own videos or their own streams. So we're going to go, how my parents opened their first Subway.
So the other day
Okay,
I was
what's up,
talking
buddy?
to a fellow lad, and they were trying to convince me that the American dream is completely dead. Now, if you don't know what the American dream is, it's literally the notion that you could build from the ground up and create a life that you could never even imagine in other places in the world. And while some people might say that America is not the greatest place for equal opportunity and that it's actually the complete opposite, I believe that the American dream is one of the greatest things to ever surface with this country. But I will not disagree that there are other countries with better opportunities. I mean, I think that's a given. I think there are a lot of countries around the world that have their
The bread.
positives and a
No.
lot of countries around the world that
Not
have
the
their
bread.
complete negatives. But when it comes to America, I think there's a lot of balance in between. I'm going to take you guys way back to when my parents first moved to this country. Both of my parents fled the country of Iran during the fall of the Shah, which was basically a time where the entire country went under a little bit of chaos. They don't really report on it a lot in Western media and a lot of Western textbooks. But the fall of the Shah was basically the equivalent to an entire revolution in the country of Iran. And my parents literally left their country with nothing and took the chance and came to LA Ellis Island in America. Now, when they came to this country, my mom worked as a JCPenney cashier for about 10.5 years, and my dad worked as a construction worker. And to this day, my dad still does construction. He's a G. So is my mom. They're both G's. And they worked their way to save up enough money to buy their first Subway location. Now, it's crazy when I started to hear this story because it kind of ties full circle into everything. My parents came from a war-torn country that was quite literally like blowing itself up, and they came to this country with nothing and worked their way to build something for their kids and for themselves. And now when we look back at the story, I think the craziest part is that I feel like I myself am kind of a resemblance of the American dream along with a lot of my friends. I went from literally making minimum wage Subway sandwiches every day for 5.5 years to building out a platform that I get to share and enjoy with millions of people from around the world. It's crazy how much that one thing could change your life, and I think America is one of the only places where you could take that risk and take that opportunity to do that one thing. Say what you will about the current socioeconomic state of this country. I mean, America has a lot of problems. It has completely different problems from a lot of the places in the world, and a lot of the people do not enjoy the shape of this country right now or even ever. But I sincerely think that this is one of the only places in the world where you can come to this country and completely build yourself from the ground up into whatever your dream is. And I think that's what it means to have the American dream. I think just the ability to create something from nothing is so vital to any country, and I think a lot of people around the world don't have this opportunity. I mean, there's a lot of countries in the Middle East or even in Europe where certain things are very frowned upon, and they'll literally throw you in jail for something that in America is just a complete norm. And I think a lot of the world is getting to this point thanks to the help of the internet, where a lot of open-minded conversations and just social consciousness is coming to fruition. But at the same time, a lot of places are completely underdeveloped in comparison to the socioeconomic state of America. Whoa, those are some big vocab words. But if you really don't think that you could build anything from the ground up in America, no matter what your situation is, please look at me and my friend Dylan, for example. Dylan was a cold stone worker that was a manager for about 9.5, 10 years time, and he grew to 10 million followers on TikTok and created this entire venture where he's gonna build his own ice cream shop in New York City in just a little bit over a year's time. And me, myself, I went from literally slinging Subway sandwiches every single day as a minimum wage fast food worker to everything that we're all building together now. It's simply incredible, and I just wanted to come on here and tell you guys, you could do anything that you put your mind to, and you don't even have to be in America. You could be anywhere in the world, but the dream of building something from nothing is not dead. In fact, it's more alive than ever with the internet. Thank you guys for watching this video. I love you. Make sure to like and subscribe and turn on bell notifications.
Subway in Dubai is weird. We gotta go a little bit. Hi. Just because I've been bored. I got bored, and I started this 2 days ago, so we're finishing this. I need Wi-Fi now.
We're in Dubai. I want to try some Subway from Dubai. See how it stacks to the American Subway. Let's just go see what they got over there.
Go find my glasses. Hold on.
I didn't mention this part. We got the gold card, baby. Is it okay if I film me ordering? Yes. Okay, cool. I don't know what to get. Oh, they have burgers here?
No way. Get that.
Yeah.
Get the potato crispers.
And what?
Get the potato crispers.
Just one, and then I'll get the potato crispers too. Sure. Wow, there's a lot of stuff here that we don't have in America.
Alright, get all of it, review it. Ask him what his favorite thing is.
What's your favorite
What's your favorite thing?
What's your favorite?
This one's for BMT.
Oh, BMT Classic, right? I work at Subway too.
Do you want cheese extra for the
Sure, cheddar.
This is beef pepperoni beef sour beef.
I'm having a hard time finding my glasses.
Ooh.
And then they got Parmesan oregano. I mean, I think that's just herbs and cheese. I'm gonna do a peri chicken too.
Get on the
I
hot
honestly think they're like right in front of the line. I don't see
the
them.
manager. We should ask him to go back there. Can he take a picture back there?
Really? I can?
You want to oh,
Can I do lettuce, tomato, onion, and what's this? What's this one?
Ooh.
Can I get, what sauce do you think goes good? I'll do Chipotle. Beautiful.
They don't have any crazy sauce?
I don't think so. I think all the sauces are kind of success, lads. We got a chicken sandwich and fries. Who would think that you get a chicken sandwich and fries from Subway? A 6-inch of the, is this the peri chicken?
No sir, this one is chicken tikka, this one the fair fries.
Alright, I'll do chicken. Can I do a 6-inch Parmesan oregano? Sandwich. Parmesan oregano. What cheese do you think goes good on that? American's good, yeah. Thank you, lads. Beautiful. This is pretty interesting. There's a lot of stuff on this menu that we do not have in America. Alright, could I get lettuce, sun-dried tomatoes, onions? I'll do mayo and chipotle. Alright, cool. That's it. I'm also gonna get
I just
chocolate
can't find
chip
them.
cookie.
Those orange Doritos are different. What are those?
No, those are just nacho cheese. The blue ones are sweet chili. We got the gold card. We're gonna try to pay with the gold card in Dubai. Let's
Anything else, sir?
Do you accept gift cards?
Yes, first.
Alright, so I'm gonna try to use that.
Maybe now, sir.
We got denied the gold card. Subway.
Actually?
Yeah. Subway be better. Alright, but we got our meal though. That's all that matters. We got Subway in Dubai.
How much you have to pay?
55 AED.
That's not much. Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. Let's go find a place to eat and try this. Alright, so we got the Subway in Dubai. I got a chicken sandwich. I got peri peri chicken sandwich. I got Doritos. Blue Doritos here are sweet chili pepper. They're not Cool Ranch, so we're gonna try those. Apparently the Subway sold French fries too, so they look pretty good. And classic cookies, orange Fanta. So I've never seen a Subway sell a chicken sandwich or fries, so we're gonna try those first. Take a first bite into this. This is actually really good. I'm a little surprised, it's really good. It tastes like a Wendy's chicken sandwich. They have like a chili coating on them. I think he said they were a little spicy, so let's see.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bendy straw.
Penny straw. I didn't really like the way they warmed these up. They just kind of threw them into the toaster oven, but let's see. They're different. Try one of these. They're alright. They're a little weird.
They're not crispy.
They're not crispy at all.
Good flavor, but not crispy.
Yeah. Try the Doritos now. Now this I'm excited about. I've heard a lot about these Doritos. They don't have the sweet chili pepper Doritos in the States, but here they have them. I've heard they're really good. So let's see. Yo, these are actually insane. Here, try this.
They are.
They're very good. This is the most hyped thing I've heard about International Subway. The peri peri chicken. Yo, they say this stuff is like crazy. So let's just try it out, right? Yo, this is actually really good. This is the best item by far, I think, that I've tried. This peri peri chicken sandwich just hits different. It's like sweet but spicy. Dude, I really like this chicken. I think it's incredible. Woo. But it's a little spicy. Woo. All in all, I mean, the fries were a little disappointing, but otherwise, I think this was great. It's actually a really solid meal, and I think, I'm gonna say it, I think Subway in Dubai is better than the Subway in America. These ingredients just taste a little better to me. I don't know why. But final touches, the cookie. This is a real measure of whether or not it's good. Here's our cookie. Look at that cookie. That's one good cookie. You want half?
Nope.
All right, let's just take a bite. So I guess Subway cookies internationally are pretty good, right? Because these taste on point. But these cookies taste exactly how they taste in the US too. And that's Subway in Dubai. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, comment if you want.
Oh crap. Oh wait, that's shorts. No. I don't want that. Subway is canceled. No. Oh shoot, wait.
And the reasoning behind it is actually kind of crazy. So right now, Subway is being canceled online, and the reasoning behind it is actually kind of crazy. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of my perspective as a Subway worker. So the platform that Subway is getting quote-unquote canceled on is actually TikTok. Who would have guessed, am I right? But it all started with a woman who posted a video of herself defending herself off from a robber. Basically, in the video, you could see security cam footage of her pushing back at somebody trying to rob her store, which happens to be a Subway restaurant location. And she actually manages to push this dude so far back that he drops his gun and she picks it up, and she literally starts pistol whipping this man with his own gun. Now the comments on this video were pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. It was basically everybody saying something along the lines of, you go sis, you showed that man who's boss, and like, yo, from the bottom of my heart, that was a pretty cool move. But if you're out there and somehow you ever end up getting robbed, please never fight back. It's probably one of the worst things that you could do. In this woman's scenario, she got extremely lucky, and it probably wasn't a real gun at all, but if it had been a real gun, or if somebody was actually deranged, they could really harm you if you ever try to fight back. So your best bet is to just give them whatever they want and let the cops do the rest afterward. But this woman essentially completely defended herself and completely defended a business which wasn't hers. So major props to this woman. But after a few days, she actually got fired from her job. This is her job at Subway, and let me tell you, there was some complete outrage. If you literally go to the Subway TikTok account or any of their social medias right now, it's being flooded with hate because of them deciding to fire this woman. So a little background, Subway franchises actually didn't have the power to fire her. Like, it wasn't like the company decided to fire her. It had to be something from an actual franchisee themselves. So whoever owned the store decided that they weren't okay with whatever happened, and so they had to get to the choice of firing this woman, which I think is completely wrong, if I'm being honest. Okay, sure, you shouldn't like give her a raise or be like, yo, you did the right thing because she didn't do the right thing. You should never fight back against a robber. But to fire this woman and leave her with literally no job is such an absurd thing, even to me. Like, how are you gonna literally give the boot to somebody that just put their entire life on the line to defend your business? It doesn't make much sense at all. And yo, it's kind of shocking to me how Subway's being canceled for this and not something related to food for once. It's like Subway's just always in the hot seat, and I kind of feel bad, but like, I don't really know what you can do at this point. It's like they got a target on their back. Anyways, back to the topic of this video. A lot more people were very outraged with the fact that she was working alone in this store. Now, I have experience in this because I've worked alone quite a few times, and so have my coworkers. And with something like a Subway, which isn't busy, it's actually really hard to have more than one employee if you're at a certain storefront. Like, if you're in the middle of nowhere, it's really hard to have the money to hire 2 employees and be profitable at the same time. But if you're in something like a Walmart or like an airport or somewhere high traffic, it's a no-brainer you should have 2 employees. So this is where the dilemma begins. What should the franchise owners do in this situation? It's literally either cough up the money to give 2 employees but know that eventually you'll probably not be able to afford your business anymore, or it's to keep 1 employee, which is just as, if not more effective, but you put yourself at higher risk situations like this. Either way, it's a pretty big dilemma, and I think a lot of it has to do with Subway's food costs. I mean, compared to a lot of other fast food franchisees, the food cost at Subway compared to the profit you make is kind of ridiculous, and that's why $5 footlongs aren't even a thing anymore, and they haven't been for like 10 plus years. So Subway's in a sticky situation, to say the least. Comment below what you would have done if you were in that situation. I think I literally would have just given the money away, but who knows? Maybe you're built different. Subscribe and turn on bell notifications for a free cookie, and have a beautiful
Yo, what up?
Peace.
Yes, we're continuing. I know. Crazy.
Yes, you read that title correctly. I am making 2 delicious sandwiches in Switzerland. I'm at an airport with a layover from Dubai over to the US, and I figured, hey, I'm in this lounge and I might as well just use the resources around me to make 1 delicious sandwich. The people of Switzerland were really nice to me too, and the people in Dubai were super nice as well. If you're wondering why I went to Dubai, it was basically my first vacation with my brothers outside of the country. Because of this whole YouTube thing, I've been blessed enough to be able to go on vacation more. And I know some of you guys are like, oh, he doesn't work at Subway anymore. But sometimes, you know, you just gotta grow. I don't know. Some of you expect me to work at Subway the rest of my life, which I just don't think is even possible. Think about my mental health. Anyways, on the way home from Switzerland, I really came up with some revelation in my mind. As much as I love to travel and as blessed as I am to be able to be in the position to travel, there's really no place like home. I was making this sandwich thinking to myself, I can't wait to be laying in my bed. Yo, it was 22 hours of travel time total just to get back in 22 hours to go to Dubai, which was insane. I mean, I never travel outside of the country, and this was like absurdity to have to be in an airplane in a lounge for just that long. It's uncomfortable, but hey, they always say the best places to grow is in uncomfortness. I don't even know if uncomfortness is a word. I may have just made that up. Yo, by the way, I had Swiss cheese in Switzerland. That's some next level stuff, let me tell you. It was crazy. My whole experience with this traveling to Dubai taught me so much about the rest of the world and just how different it is from the US. I've never met more nice people in my life than on this vacation, and I've never had as culturally different food as this vacation. Well, that's kind of a lie. If I'm being honest, I had like McDonald's, Burger King. I had some terrible food. But I also went to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant in Dubai too. And I gotta just say, Gordon, if you're somehow listening to this, big disappointment. I literally thought the serving sizes were for ants. That just might be me being a fat American talking about this. But they were just such small dishes, and when I asked for a lemonade, yo, it was the worst lemonade I think I've ever had in my entire life. It was like completely carbonated. It tasted like seltzer water with just lemon sprinkled in. I'm a big lemonade guy, so I don't know. I got really offended by this. The rest of the meal was pretty good, but I don't know. Gordon, you gotta be on top of that. But the people were super nice. Anyways, after making these sandwiches, I just sat back and waited for my next flight in the beautiful land of Switzerland. And I've heard if you subscribe and like this video, you too will have a chance to be in Switzerland making your own sandwich.
What? sorry. I was texting somebody in the chat about something happening. Or something that hopefully will happen.
Millard, have you ever stole something? Him. So there's this one time. Okay, but wait. There actually was this one time that I kind of did steal something, but it was accidental. I never intended to steal, and I never intend to steal ever again. I learned my lesson, and the thing I stole was a beautiful young woman's heart who I call my girlfriend. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. That was kind of cringe. All right, anyway. Before I tell the story, only like 25% of you guys are subscribed, so it's that 75% that's not subscribed. Please consider subscribing. It's completely free, and you can subscribe at any time, and I'll love you and give you a free cookie. So there was this day that I was on shift at work, and it was a very busy lunch rush. I'm talking like probably one of...
Give me like 2 seconds, chat. I'm gonna go ask my parents something. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. I was talking to my mom about something that's happening tomorrow. Alright.
One of the busiest I've ever had. Line out the door and actually around the building. Well, not all the way around, but like there were a few people outside. And me and my one coworker were literally going to war with these sandwiches. It was just sandwich after sandwich after sandwich after sandwich. And it felt like it would just literally never end. Well, after about 2 hours, me and my coworker racked up about $60 in tips. Now, let me just put this into reference for you guys. $60 is an insane amount of tips. Like, insane. The average lunch rush for a 2-hour shift, you'll get like $10 to $15. So a $60 tip in 2 hours is kind of crazy, and obviously me and my coworker were gonna split this tip. Anyways, my shift ended at 2 o'clock and he was there until 4, and at the end of a shift everybody always ends up splitting the tips and going home. Now for some reason in my dumb mind, I went to go split the tips, so when I poured them out onto the counter, I got distracted by something, and then I came back and just literally grabbed them and left. Well, my coworker was not happy about this at all, let me tell you. He realized that I did this probably like 2 hours later when he was leaving. He was like, where did all my tips go? So originally he calls me and he goes, yo, I think somebody stole my tips. Like, I had $30 in tips from the 60 that we made during the lunch rush, and I just can't find it. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's tough, man. Like, what are you gonna do, right? Like, as if I have nothing to do with this and I didn't just pull off the single greatest heist in existence at Subway. But after about 5 minutes, the realization had hit me. I was so excited about these tips. I mean, like, $30 was so much, and it still is a lot of money. And a young Malad was just thinking about how much food he could buy, because a young Malad was very fat indeed. We're working on it. And so in that moment, I went to my backpack to grab the money out, and I realized the look of horror on my face when I discovered that I had taken $60 and $30 was probably historic. I just couldn't believe that I stole this man's tip. And I was so embarrassed because I was just providing him, like, relief about how he didn't get any of the money that he made and somebody probably stole it. So I had an option in this moment. Do I potentially embarrass myself and return the $30 to the rightful citizen? Or do I just pretend as if this never happened and just literally steal the money? And I took that money and I went and bought a $60 meal at a fancy restaurant. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, I gave the coworker the money. And he was pretty happy because he was like, yo, I swore I thought somebody took it. So we gave it to the rightful owner in the end. Lesson of the day, don't steal.
I'm having such a hard time right now. Okay. I'm trying to print something out so I can mail to somebody. Not gonna point fingers, but they may or may not have been in the chat today. I saved him Google reviews.
The Google reviews on my Subway store are completely outrageous, so let's read a few of them. Also, only like 25% of you guys are subscribed, so if you're part of that 75% that's not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It helps me out so much, and I'll give you a free cookie. This one comes from Pizza Time. He said, it was a rainy day, and I saw a good-looking Subway, and I desired a good sub. When I walking in, I saw a good-looking man at the front counter. Oh, good-looking, huh? Okay, okay. I ordered my favorite sub, which is a meatball sub. When the good-looking guy made my sub, he made sure the bread was extra crispy. He then put the meatballs gently on the roll. Wait a sec. Okay, this might be a little weird. As I ate the sub, my teeth bit something hard. It was a good bar inside of my sandwich. I then took it out of my sandwich and gave it back to the young man behind the counter. He then gave me an iPhone 13. I will never forget that day from now on. Thank you, Millard. Yo, that was a little sus at the beginning, but I'm happy it had a wholesome ending. You know, anytime, Pizza Time, anytime. Our next one comes from Jay Zhang. The other day, I was getting chased by a bunch of extraterrestrial beings. Oh, this is already gonna be good, I could tell. Who wanted to abduct me to their planet in the 5th solar system. When I came across this nice-looking Subway, I asked the good-looking young guy in the store whether I could take refugee for a while until the situation outside was a bit less hectic. Okay, I've been called good-looking 3 times already. I swear I did not mean for this to happen. I didn't even read any of these before I picked them. Comments are gonna be like, Cap, Malad just wants to boost the ego. Ah, well, you know. He noticed the serious expression on my face and offered me a place to shelter in his Subway behind the counter next to the vegetables. On top of that, he gave me a free cookie, which I slaughtered like a cookie monster. I will be forever thankful for everything this young hero did at the time. I think his name was Millard or something. I am no hero. I'm simply just doing my job, young sir. Wow, some of you guys are really creative, I gotta say. Like, I couldn't come up with any of this stuff on my own. But thank goodness there's like 3,000 people that leave Google reviews on my Subway that can come up with this stuff for me. And our last Google review comes from Caden Bain. 200 likes, I could tell this is gonna be good. I was feeling incredibly hungry, so I decided to pick up a Subway sandwich. When I opened the door, I was greeted by a man with a small camera duct taped to his head. Yep, that's me. He dashed to the counter with superhuman speed and began making a sub before I even ordered. It was an amazing turkey sub with delicious crunchy Doritos sprinkled in. I was amazed, as if this sandwich had hypnotic power. He then handed me my sandwich and actually gave me a cookie for free. Definitely me. But this was no ordinary cookie. The moment I bit into it, I was instantly transported to a large room. There was a massive TV on the wall with the numbers 1,880,000 on it. I looked down and saw a new iPhone 12 sitting right next to me. I picked it up, being careful not to break it, and it turned on. I saw that I already had a message despite me not even having a chance to turn the phone on. It read, "What did you think of the sub, and were the Doritos too crunchy?" This is where I am now, in a room with a string of numbers on a screen and a brand new phone. Definitely the best food experience I've ever had. The sheer amount of creativity that had to go into this Google review, I applaud you all. Good work, lads.
Okay. Karen or not to Karen?
Okay, I don't think I've ever spoken about this publicly, but I've talked about it on like streams and like a little bit in the comment section before. But a huge staple of my channel and my brand used to be talking about the K word, and I'm gonna say it for this video, Karen. And just about every single time when somebody comes into my subway or I just meet somebody and I ask them, what was your favorite video I've ever made? They'll always tell me that they really enjoy the Karen videos. And a few months ago, I actually made a video denouncing the use of the word Karen. And now I'm just tied up in this huge dilemma, and I really wanted to hear your guys' opinions in the comment section or however you could reach me about this whole thing. So it all begins back a few months ago. I'd say back in like March of 2020, and I made a video that was called Mother of All Karen, and a staple to my brand was kind of using the Karen name, just referring to rude customers that came in and did stuff that just wasn't against, like, it literally just wasn't nice to the fast food minimum wage workers that were working, including myself. So I made this video, and there was such an uproar of positivity, and people were so committed to my channel, and people just loved, like, the fact that somebody was standing up for these fast food workers, which is me, which I didn't even realize at the time. I was just telling stories from my life, and I thought that maybe they'd just be interesting and funny. But people were like, Milad, you're actually one of the first people that spoke up against these rude customers that come in and treat us like dogs. And I just always used the word Karen because that was like a meme on the internet for the longest time. It just came natural to me. And then one day I got a DM from somebody, I'm pretty sure it was on Instagram, and they said something along the lines of like, Milad, I love your videos, I love everything that you do, and you spread such a positive message, but my name is Karen, and you don't understand the actual backlash that we've gotten for having our names being Karen. She said that she was afraid to ever use her name in public, and how this was like a thing that nobody realizes, but she just hates when people call her Karen. She like became a non-fan of her own name, and this message actually like touched me, and I was like, wow, I never knew how much using a single word could affect somebody else so negatively. To me, this whole time I thought it was just a name, and I thought it was just a meme, like something funny that people will just use. But this message made me make a video that was like, I'm never using the K word, aka Karen, again in my entire life. And a lot of people supported it. A lot of people were like, Milad, just do whatever you want. Like, don't let like one person just kind of infiltrate the entirety of what you built. Because at the end of the day, Karen is like just a name. It could be like any other name. Like I could have used Milad, I could use Kevin, I could use like a male Karen, I don't know. It was just like a universally recognizable name for a certain type of customer that comes into the store. And then a few months later, I actually got a same DM from this person, and it was something along the lines of like, you're an idiot, my name's not actually Karen, LMAO, I can't believe you made that video. And I was like, I will never trust anybody on the internet ever again because of this. But to this day, I have customers come in that tell me, yo, they're a big fan of the videos, and their favorite videos I've ever made were the videos about Karen. So this leaves me in a dilemma. This person literally just messed with my entire brand for a meme, and I'm surprised they didn't like post it anywhere. Maybe they did and I just don't know about it. But I thought some of the most fun videos I've ever made were the Karen videos. So I have two questions for my audience. One, is there another word that's like as universally recognizable as Karen that we could just use in place of it just in case? And two, should I just not care and start using the word Karen again, or should I use my own name, Milad? Like, I don't know, if I'm being honest, it's a pretty Karen thing to do for a person named Karen to actually like send me a message talking about how I shouldn't be using their name. It's like poetry writes itself. And then the fact that the person's name actually wasn't even Karen, like I don't know what to do. So I'm leaving this to my audience. In the comment section, I need you to represent whatever your side is. Do I use the infamous K word, or do I not use it? This is such a dilemma for me. I trust you lads, you got this, and let me know. Also, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Peace.
Wait. I can turn that off now. Okay, so if I'm not talking, actually, I just realized I ain't talking really at all because I'm working on something over here for giveaway coming up.
Mill Sky, has someone ever tried to get you fired for a dumb reason? Well, buckle down. I mean, there's been a few times where somebody has tried to get me fired. I mean, in my opinion, I think all of them were for dumb reasons, but you guys can be the judge of that. So the first time that somebody tried to get me fired while I was working was when I was a young lad and I was working at the old Subway. It was basically like my third week in, and I had a customer come in that was giving me major attitude. He needed 3 different sandwiches and I was all alone, and he was already pretty ticked off from the fact that I was working alone. I guess he didn't want to wait for his 3 sandwiches, but you know, whatever. We're just gonna move on from that. I'm going through making all of his sandwiches, and on the second sandwich, he asked for it toasted, and when I put it into the toaster oven, the man must have had like a meltdown. I knew for a fact that I asked him if he wanted it toasted, but he claimed that I never even asked him, and I just threw it into the toaster oven, and I was like, you know, it's okay, I'm just gonna make you a new sandwich. And the man must have been like on the biggest rush of his life because he couldn't wait another second, and he basically told me that he's gonna leave and he's not paying for any of the sandwiches. And you know, that's when I kind of got a little upset. It is my parents' sandwich shop, and I know that I shouldn't have any emotions while working, but it feels like just because because the guy couldn't wait an extra 3 minutes that he had to take his anger out on us. And my parents are the ones that are gonna have to pay for it. So I basically said something along the lines of like, why are you just gonna come to a Subway and buy a sandwich if you're not gonna even, you know, take the sandwich home and eat it or even pay for it? Like, what was the point? And yo, this comment made him snap. I knew in my mind that I should have said nothing at all, but it was as if it was like a literal scene out of a movie. He like turns his head 180 degrees, looks me dead in the eyes, and says something along the lines of like,
I can't believe that you would ever even say that to me. I've never witnessed somebody so disrespectful in the fast food industry in my entire life.
and I'm like, whoa, in your entire life? That must be a long time, huh? But I basically like knew that I fluffed up. I mean, I had no intentions of even like upsetting the man. I just kind of wanted to say what was on my mind. And in this moment, as a young lad named Malad, I realized I will never even acknowledge any negativity from a customer again. Well, that man went home and he actually filed a report to my parents about how I should be fired. He was basically like demanding them to fire me. And my mom was basically like, what'd you do? And I explained the situation to her. And my mom was like, huh, welcome to your first real life experience with people. And from that moment on, I guess I just kind of lived my life and worked at Subway. Could you imagine if I got fired from that? My life would be so substantially different to this day. If you enjoyed this story and made it to the end, please be sure to subscribe and like the video. I love you lads. Have a beautiful and blessed day. Peace.
All right. Chloe's about to kill me. It's like, I met so and so today. It's like I just met. He's like, I finally met Greg Crochelle today. I'm like, nice. ... Who's that? Because I don't know who that is. Demanding a refund.
Milan, has there ever been a customer that brought a sandwich in and came back a few days later when it's kind of moldy and demanded a refund? This is such an oddly specific question that I have such an oddly specific answer for. So something similar to this has happened before. The customer sure as heck didn't bring back a moldy sandwich a few days later, but I did have a customer that came back a few days later demanding a refund. So basically the story went like this. One of my coworkers made a sandwich for a customer that came in a few days prior, and apparently according to my coworker, the customer was giving her such a huge attitude. Like a huge attitude. Like she was literally nitpicking the sandwich as she was making it and telling her that like she was making a terrible sandwich. And so she gave the store a phone call like the next day, and I actually talked to her through this, and she was not happy with the customer experience. And I was kind of saying like, I understand like your worries, I'm sorry that this happened, I can offer you like a free sandwich the next time you come in, which I did. And then she shows up the next day with her receipt thinking that she's gonna get a free sandwich and she's gonna get her sandwich refunded. And I like talked her through it. I was like, was there anything wrong with the sandwich? And she like literally said, nope, nothing was wrong with it. She was like, I just didn't enjoy the customer service. And I was like, ma'am, I can't really give you a refund if there was nothing at all wrong with the sandwich. And like in my head, I'm thinking like, what the heck is going on? Like at the end of the day, this is a business, and like you got your product and we're willing to go above and beyond for the service, and like you're literally just trying to fool us. Like you want a free sandwich and you want us to refund you for something that you've already eaten? Like how does that make any sense? And she just kept demanding. She was like, no, like you guys will give me a refund or I'm gonna go to corporate about this. And I was like, you know, you can go to corporate. Like I think they're gonna tell you the same exact thing, but like you can go for it. And I'm pretty sure like in a last ditch effort, she said that there was a hair in her sandwich. And I was like, oh, here we go, the classic hair in a sandwich card. And I was like, do you have a picture of the hair in the sandwich? And she goes, no. And I was just kind of like, then we can't really prove in any way that there was a hair in the sandwich. Like I just didn't know what to do at the time, and I was like 19 years old, so it was kind of like a weird situation. And then in the end, she's like, oh, fine, I'll just take my free sandwich and go. And I was like, okay, this is what we were supposed to do from the beginning, but okay. And I made her her free sandwich and she left, and I'd never seen her since. And you know, I'm kind of glad that I've never seen her since. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and like the video. Have a beautiful and blessed day, lads. Peace.
Sorry guys, cool guys texting me a whole lot. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to.
Mildew,
trying to
what is
type.
one thing working at Subway for 6 years has taught you? In case you didn't know, a few days ago marked my 6-year anniversary working at Subway, and I heard that if you subscribe, you'll see the next 6. So please subscribe. But there's a lot of lessons that I've learned throughout this journey at Subway, and I know there's automatically going to be some percentage of the audience that's like, what could you learn working at Subway? I mean, it's like a fast food job. It's Subway. But there are some life lessons that I have learned along the way. I think that no matter what your job is or what you're doing in this world, you have a purpose, and you can learn a lot from whatever you're doing right now. I mean, you don't have to be like a level 10 executive at some like Fortune 500 company to get lessons out of your job. You could literally be somebody working at a Subway getting the most like deep, ambiguous life lessons that you could imagine. So I have a few of them that I'd love to share with you guys. I think the number one lesson that I've learned in my time at Subway is that you have to cater to your customer. And by that, I don't mean letting a customer step all over you. I mean, there's definitely boundaries with that kind of stuff. But having a conversation with somebody, especially if they're walking through the door and you've never met them before, is a really helpful thing. Especially in the business world, it's as if you're like making somebody feel comfortable in your shop, and you learn so much by just talking to people as well. Like, that's the number one reason why I recommend a job at Subway or some place with a lot of communication. People that come into your store teach you so much, and you don't even realize until like days, weeks, even months later the learnings that you get. Now, another thing that I've learned is that you need to always be on time with this kind of stuff. I'm in a blessed enough position where my parents own the Subway, so it's like if I'm late 1 or 2 times to a shift, it's not that big of a deal. And I mean, they're super nice about it. Like, if somebody's late, like, usually nobody really cares. But if somebody has a boss that's a stickler for time management is such an important thing that you have to be on top of. There have been so many times where I've taken a nap or like I've just not been in the mood to go to work, so I delayed it, and I would show up like a minute or 2 late, and I'm like, dang, like I feel bad. I made my coworker wait this minute or 2 just because I was being lazy. Like, this isn't fair. So I cut that out of my routine, and I think that's something that pretty early on, if you're working at any job, especially fast food, you got to cut out pretty early. And my third and final tip, especially regarding Subway, and I'm pretty bad with this, like I'm being pretty vulnerable right now, you have to watch how much of the food you consume. Like, you can't fall into the trap of eating Subway every day or having like a cookie every day, because that quickly adds up. When you're working a fast food job, you have this food around you, and oftentimes it looks pretty amazing. I mean, it really depends on what store you're working at, if I'm being honest, but like at Subway, to me, it always looks really good. And there's a really easy trap to fall into where it's like, I'll just eat Subway every single day, and then I'm like, I had a cookie yesterday, so I'll have another cookie today, or I drink a lot of soda. Like, these are things that you have to be very wary of, especially if you're working in a fast food job. These calories quickly add up, and over the past few months, they have not been the best strategy of eating for me. But I'm sorry to cut back, and I think it's important that you're able to recognize when you're eating too much and when you're not eating enough. But the food at Subway and most fast food restaurants is really nice to have. It's an amenity. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to like and comment down below what your favorite food is. And subscribe to the channel for more videos. I love you guys. Have a beautiful and blessed day. Peace.
I remember his birthday. More Google reviews.
My Subway restaurant's in a small town and somehow has 2,868 Google reviews.
Yeah,
but it has
somehow.
9 stars, so let's read some of these ridiculous reviews. This one's from Burnt Toast 54. There was a weird guy with a phone, but it was amazing. I also got a free cookie, thanks. Listen, Burnt Toast, I don't know who you think you are, but I'll give you another free cookie, alright? This one comes from Yusuf Safi. I've been to a ton of Subways over the years, but this one is the best ever. That's a bold statement, but thank you. I work nearby, so I visit often for a cheap bite to eat. The food is always fresh and tasty. The people working there are always friendly, welcoming, and accommodating. I highly recommend this Subway. Oh, there you go. There's your wholesome review for the day. These aren't bad enough. I gotta get to the 1-star reviews. Where are the 1-star reviews at? Not cool. Abdul said, I called the place to order for a birthday party and they didn't answer at all. In case you don't know, we completely turned off our phones at our Subway. There was a point where we were getting 400 calls a day, and every single time I answered the phone, somebody would scream in my ear, "Chupapi muñeño!" And we simply had enough. So if you need an online order, any platter, you just gotta order online. No, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Blame the internet.
Hey, it's already been an hour.
Said, I came
Holy
all
crap.
the way from Italy for a free cookie, but I didn't get a free cookie. I'm sorry, Anonymous one. Please come back so I can give you a free cookie. Alright, these 1-star reviews are kind of trash too. You know what we have to go to? The newest. Let's see what people have said in the past few days. Okay, this is from a random cat. I could already tell this will be good. I was walking around and I came face to face with Godzilla. I ran towards safety and found a local Subway. The guy working there had a weird thing on his neck. Oh my god, that is hurtful. A weird thing on my neck? It's a birthmark. By the way, when I was a little kid, somebody thought that the birthmark on my neck was ice cream dripping down my neck. To this day, I remember that lady. You'll always always be in my mind because of that moment.
You've scarred me for life.
Anyways, and he gave me a foot-long sub to hit Godzilla. I completely forgot we were talking about Godzilla. I hit Godzilla, and thanks to the power of the sub, I ended up making Godzilla into a cute monkey. Then I thanked the Subway worker, and he gave me an iPhone 120 and spat on my shoes. Why would I have spat on your shoes? I was going about my day eating pickles and getting chased by an older gentleman with a Remington 870
I already have respect for this person. He eats pickles. Let's go.
in his hand and rocket-powered rollerblades on his feet. But then I came across the Subway and took a loan of 12 cookies from a handsome and agreeable young man. Oh, handsome and agreeable, huh? Why, thank you. Okay, wait, there's no commas, no periods. He like capitalized this letter without even like there being a period. Like, he even spelled which wrong. It's like W-I-C, like what? Which I used to power up to my ultimate form, Pickle Cookie Man, and fought off my arch nemesis, the Rollerblade Killer. And on that note, please subscribe for a free cookie. Thank you very much.
Googling myself.
Just like any person with a little internet clout, today I'm going to be Googling myself. Oh boy, what does the world come to? Does Muladi die in Tehran? I don't even know what that means. Next, does Mulad Merg have a brother? Yes, I do. I have multiple, actually. Where does Mulad Merg work? That's a good question. I mean, like, I work at Subway. I don't even know what to say. What does Mulad mean? No, I'm actually curious to this one, so let's see what this says. Son of the sun. Mulad is an Iranian name of Persian origin that means son of the sun. Would you look at that? The sun is my father. Wait, how does that make sense? Okay, next we're going to type in, how does Mulad Merg film? Well, I actually have this chest harness doohickey that I put on my chest to film sandwiches. It's really cool because it lets me get the first.
Bro, you're probably gonna be able to search that up, and it's literally just gonna say, harness doohickey. Yep, that's probably how it's gonna work.
First person point of view with like my arms in front. Oh, but this says, how much does Mulad Merg make? I'm really interested to see what Google says about how much I make. Okay, this says $450,000. His main income source is YouTube ad revenue. I'm not gonna say whether or not this number is accurate because I don't really want the IRS coming after me or anything. But it is true that YouTube ad revenue is my main source of income right now. There's a wiki about me, wikiofcelebs.com. What the heck? Now I'm kind of curious to see what this says. It's funny how Google takes you down this rabbit hole, huh? So let's see if they got any of the information right about me. I was born in an American family. Wrong. Iranian family. They got my birthday right. In Little Falls, New Jersey. Wrong. His full name is Mulad. Wrong. And his zodiac sign is not known. Well, my zodiac sign is a Libra, so now you know. How is it not known if they know what my birthday is? I finished his schooling at a private school in his hometown? Not true. I did not go to private school. I was a public school boy, and I got abused in public school. He attended New Jersey Institute of Technology, where he pursued a bachelor's degree in computer science. That is known. Famous for Subway videos. I love that. Hobbies, traveling. I love that. I mean, like, my audience roasts me when I travel. His height is 5 feet 8 inches and weighs around 65 kilograms. I am not 5'8". I am at least 5'11". My doctor likes to tell me I'm 6 foot. And it says my shoe size is a 7. First off, how would they even know my shoe size? And this is a wrong. Anybody wants to send me shoes, it's a size 10. And yeah, basically the rest of this looks like hoopla. It looks pretty outdated too. But I guess that's Google for you. Subscribe and I'll give you a free cookie.
One of these times I want him to send me a free cookie. Like, just send me one in the mail, buddy. Send me an Instagram message and I'll accept your free cookie.
Alright, so FaZe Rug just texted me a video of his sandwich order. So lads, we're gonna make this thing and try it, and I'm gonna let you know exactly how it is. Alright, Rug, let's check out what you ordered.
Milan, what's up, man?
What
You
up?
are the GOAT. I love you. My Subway order is a footlong on Italian urban cheese, teriyaki chicken, and provolone cheese, toasted, of course. I get lettuce, tomato, onions, banana pepper, mayo, salt, and pepper. Let me know what you think about it.
Ooh! Alright, I think that's gonna be pretty good. Let's go make it.
Great, I'm gonna get copyright again. Can't. No. Okay.
Alright, we got the sandwich. I'm excited. Let's unwrap it. That wasn't satisfying. Now, to be fair, I'm not trying this at Subway itself, so it's not as fresh as it can be, but I'm confident it's still gonna be good. Oh, I forgot. I double wrapped it. So, here it is. So, to recap, this is a chicken teriyaki sandwich. Alright, FaZe Rug, this one's for you. Cheers. Wow, this is very like sweet and tangy. I actually really like it. It's pretty good. Rug, I gotta give you credit. But I would add sweet onion sauce. That's the one thing I would add. Or just like Chipotle sauce. But the mayo adds.
Okay. The 3 years, like his first year, he's going crazy with videos. It's insane how we're still in the 3-year mark.
So I made a video about how filling up a water cup with soda or other things at a fast food restaurant like a Subway or McDonald's or wherever is just morally incorrect. And everybody had their own opinions on this, so I wanted to hop on here to just give my experience. Now, I am no saint. I'm not going to sit around and pretend like I never filled up a water cup with soda. As a matter of fact, when I was a kid, like 8 or 9 years old, I would literally go to these restaurants with one of my best friends at the time named Josh. And we would literally get a water cup and fill it up with lemonade. And one time, one of the employees saw us doing it, and we literally thought we were going to jail. Like, I was like, this is it. I gotta call my mom. I gotta get her to break me out. My life is practically over. But the employee at the fast food restaurant basically shrugged their shoulder and didn't care at all. And so in that video, I basically said, hey, it's not that big of a deal if you fill a water cup up with soda. I mean, like, who's gonna arrest you, right? Like, no cop's gonna arrest you for doing that. But it is morally incorrect. And once I bring out the morals, everybody starts to say something. I think like 9 times out of 10, you won't get caught doing this. But that 1 out of 10 time that you do get caught, it's just really awkward for everybody. And I've caught quite a few kids filling up their cups with water, and I've caught quite a few kids filling up their water cups with soda. And I actually used to have a customer that would come in like just about every day with their own cup and always ask me, can I fill this up with water? And they would take their bottle up to the soda machine, a bottle that they brought from outside of the store that they literally just brought in to fill up with soda. They would run the water for a few seconds, fill it up with Coca-Cola, and then walk out. After like 2 days, I caught on and I was like, hey, you are not allowed to do this. I apologize, but like the first time it was funny. Now you can't do this every day. Come on, guys. I mean, he wouldn't even like buy anything. He literally just show up to the store to fill it up with soda and walk out. I mean, like, what the heck is going on? But if it's like a little kid and they're like, I want a water cup, I'm not gonna like watch them like a hawk to make sure that they get water in it. But you guys let me know. What do you think? Have you ever filled up a water cup with soda? I feel like this is one of the biggest moral dilemmas of the century. Don't forget to subscribe.
That's why I'm just gonna be dead honest here. I do that every time when I'm at Brahms. I get a water cup. I'm like, soda. Nobody likes Subway. Cap.
The other day I posted a video to TikTok that ended up going super viral, and essentially the premise of the video was you literally make the sandwich at Subway. Now somebody sent me a TikTok where a kid actually was throwing a volleyball against the wall and said something along the lines of like, nobody truly likes Subway. And to that I say, well, you literally do just make the sandwich. I mean, you could argue that you don't like the ingredients that Subway uses, but a lot of it's pretty natural and fresh. I mean, their slogan for the longest time was eat fresh, but they also have been in a few scandals, so I could understand why you wouldn't like Subway. But if it's the fact that you just don't like Subway as a sandwich shop, well, you literally make the sandwich. And now this reminds me of a time where somebody came to me and told me that they didn't like their sandwich. I was basically working a shift at the old Subway and somebody ordered a sandwich for there. And after they finished the entire foot-long sandwich, they basically came up to the counter to talk to me. And they told me that they didn't like the sandwich. They said something along the lines of like, the sandwich tasted weird to me. Like, I don't know. I didn't like the combination of mayo and whatever the combination on the sandwich was. I don't remember. It was so long ago. And to that, I just responded like, well, next time, maybe you shouldn't get those toppings. If you didn't like the sandwich, it's probably because of the stuff that you put onto the sandwich. Unless you like let us build your own sandwich, then I understand. And that's why I don't like when people ask me for me to make them my own creation, because it's like the biggest gamble in the world. Who knows what your taste buds are actually like, and if they even relate to mine at all. But yeah, I was kind of confused by that moment, because like, you literally do make the sandwich yourself. I don't know how you could be complaining to me if you picked everything that went onto the sandwich. And I understand if you're just voicing your frustrations out, but the lady was like expecting me to give her a full refund after she ate the entire sandwich. So the moral of the story is you literally pick what goes on the sandwich. So if you're calling Subway trash, that might be on you. Or you just might not like sandwiches or Subway in general, and that's okay too.
Okay. I am very tired. Not as tired as I was yesterday, of course, but still tired. We heard Bryce Hall. Who's that?
Hall becomes a fast food employee.
Oh, this freak, yeah.
If someone recognizes me, they're just gonna be like, wow, you fell off.
Bryce Hall and his team wanted to come out to Subway, and Bryce asked for a job, so on the spot, I decided to hire him. Here's what happened.
I knew.
Is that thing? Oh, wow.
You might only recognize these. I've never worked a real job in my life. That sounds really stupid, but I don't even want you to show me how to do this. I just want to like do it. Amazing. Yeah. So look, I know where everything is. It's the bread. That's the toaster. This is the food.
That is fair.
It's pretty simple. Self-explanatory.
Today, Bryce Hall becomes a fast food employee.
Did he not do something like that?
I think I look good.
No way.
No. You fell on. Subway. Let's go.
This is not a promo, by the way.
This is not sponsored. Subway doesn't even pay me to do this.
This is a promo for this specific franchise. Go Milan just bought it.
Let's get started.
Alright. Yeah, get your gloves on, right?
Oh, you have to wear gloves?
Yeah. One of you want a sandwich?
Yeah.
What kind of sandwich?
Footlong flatbread. Bacon
How
pepper
would you
jack.
Bryce, this is the flatbread.
This is gonna be so embarrassing. I'm new. I got you, bro.
And then what, you said pepper jack?
Yeah.
That's this one.
That's a pepper jack.
I know.
You do watch my video. Or you just go to Subway.
Got him.
That's 2 pieces.
What?
You're doing double cheese.
I know. I wonder if I get.
Beautiful.
Wow. Look at me.
All right.
Beautiful. Wow, you're halfway done.
I could be good at this job. You want anything?
Over there.
Oh, I know. Where do I put this?
Fans, right? They just ran away.
That's kind of a misleading thing. These are purple. Got you. Got you, bro. Where's the knife? I know.
No, alright, wait.
Jeez, oh jeez.
I think he can handle a sore throat there.
I don't know what to say.
Alright, I'll get Bryce.
Bryce, you're too problematic. You're fired. You gotta get out. You gotta go. You gotta go, man. Well, you can't fire me because I freaking quit.
And so Bryce Hall's career as a Subway worker unfortunately came to an
Bro.
end. And then there was a post-game press conference right outside of my Subway.
People want sandwiches.
What just happened? Wait, chat, we just had to scroll down over here, then we can actually get to it. Oh, let's go. Subway Squid Game.
You know, I see Squid Game blowing up all over the internet, so I decided I was going to make my own version of Squid Game. This is not going to be just any Squid Game. This is Squid Game at Subway. The rules are pretty simple. It's just literally me versus my coworker. It's as if all other 454 players don't even exist, and it's literally just me and my coworker Bryant. And the only game that we're playing is going to be called Cut the Shape. It's like that Dalgona game with the candy. You know, the one that's going viral like everywhere where people use a needle. But instead of using a needle and some random piece of candy, we're going to be using a piece of Subway bread and a knife. And there's going to be 2 parts to this. The first part is going to be cutting a circle out of the piece of bread, and the second part is going to be cutting a star out of the piece of bread. Now, my cutting skills at Subway, I'm not going to say they're bad, I'm not going to say they're good, but, you know, I'd say I'm a little bit above average. Definitely no pro, but, you know, I'm not bad. And Brian,
Above
well, he
average.
started working 3 months ago, but he's picked up pretty quickly, so he's pretty good, too. So we set a timer for about 1 minute to start the clock, and the first shape that we were going to cut out is a circle. And by the way, I didn't mention this, but whoever wins these 2 challenges is going to win our tips for the night. You don't want to miss that ending. But yeah, basically the clock started, and I could not figure out for the life of me how to make a circle out of Subway bread. It was actually a lot harder than you think. If you ever want to try this out on your own, just like grab a piece of bread that's like straight out of the oven and try to cut a shape into it. It's a lot harder than it seems, let me tell you. But Bryant was actually pretty good at it. Like, I was kind of pleasantly surprised by how good he was at cutting shapes into bread, especially the circle. I mean, like, I was confused. How did he obtain this knowledge of cutting shapes into bread? I don't know. But yeah, it's safe to say the first game I lost. Very unfortunate indeed. But it was still a ton of fun. I mean, a minute is kind of pressure, and you know pressure is bad for me. And then the second game we moved on to was doing the same exact thing, but with the star shape. Now, the star, this was a real big challenge. I just want to preface by saying I failed horribly at doing the star, and Bryant says that he failed horribly as well. So I didn't really know what to do here with these star shapes. So since Bryant won the first game by a mile, I decided that he was the winner of today's Subway Squid Games. And you know, he won our tips for the night, which was a whopping 96 cents. W in the comment for Bryant. Like the video. If this video reaches 25,000 likes, I'll do a part 2.
I could have died.
I definitely wasn't the smartest kid in the world, and whenever I
Amen
talked
to
to my
that.
mom about how I was as a child, it would just literally bring back so many memories for her. Some memories in horror, but some good too. And the biggest memory that always takes me back so much is the fact that there was a day that I could have died. I have no recollection of this moment, but my mom remembers it pretty vividly, and I don't blame her, you know? I was about like 5 years old at the time, so I was in like kindergarten, and I was at a pool party with a couple of friends, and a young Milad loved to just run around and jump around and have fun with his friends. And apparently I was holding a popsicle, and while running around, I accidentally slipped into the pool. And well, when you jump into a pool, you usually float, but for some reason as a kid, I started to sink. I don't know if that means I was a fat little boy or not, but you know. Regardless, I was so young, and I had this moment in my life where if nobody had seen me and nobody understood what was happening, I could have legitimately died. And so I was underwater for probably a good 20-25 seconds before somebody came in and tried to rescue me. And I'm sure that my little puny brain had no idea what was going on. I was probably like, oh, this is wet. Why am I wet right now? But I literally had to have somebody jump in and completely rescue me. And thank goodness I didn't have any CPR. Oh my god, imagine. But at like 5 years old, I essentially had my life flash before my eyes. And to this day, this is one of those core memories that tells me every single moment that I just need to live life to the fullest. Because tomorrow isn't promised, you know? And what's weird is that without a clean earth, we could all literally die tomorrow. There might be a lot of people that don't think that's true, but science begs to differ. And one of the main reasons for me telling you guys this story is because there's actually this entire Team C's operation going on right now that's trying to raise $30 million in order to clean our ocean. And it's being held by no other than the boy, Mr. Beast, aka Jimmy. They planted 20 million trees last year, and now they want to take 30 million pounds of garbage out of the oceans, which is incredible. When Jimmy asked me to be a part of this, I was like, yo, this is something that the YouTube community could do that can actually change the world. And so this video is essentially a fundraiser for Team C's. If you even have just $1 to donate, that's 1 pound of garbage out of the ocean. And hey, a young Milad would love you for doing it. So if you're a young kid, be careful around water, especially if your parents are telling you to stay back. And if you're a parent, please consider donating Team Trees so that your youngin can enjoy the ocean
Team
one day
Trees?
when they grow up.
I thought it was Team C's. So my subway is oh, not this again. We had this one time, and
People joke
somebody
around and say
knows
stuff like,
Animation
"Oh, my
Studios
house is
did not
haunted,"
like
or,
that.
There's a ghost that lives in my closet, but I legitimately think that my Subway store is haunted. There's just too many weird paranormal occurrences that happen like every single day at the store that I've just concluded on my own that ghosts literally live in the back of my Subway. And by the way, in this video, we're making something called fairy bread. It's basically a recipe from Australia and New Zealand that's just bread, butter, and sprinkles. It looks really good, and it tastes, well, you'll see my reaction at the end as to how it tastes. But when I first started working at this new Subway, and by the way, it's only this Subway that I think is haunted. I mean, the other one could have been too, but that's another story for another time. Literally from day one working at this Subway, I started to notice some weird things that would happen, usually around nighttime. I think the first occurrence I've ever had of a paranormal activity was one night that I was just chilling at the Subway, and it was completely dead, and then all of a sudden, a box of chips fell down from the shelf in the back, and then another one did. Now, this shelf is completely flat too. Like, I don't even know how a box of chips would ever fall down from this place unless somebody pushed it. And I'm not saying that that alone is evidence for a ghost, but you know, it's kind of compelling. And there's always weird noises coming from the back there too. I've never heard like a voice. Oh my god, if I heard like a baby voice coming from the back, we're moving to Mexico. We're literally gonna burn down Subway and just move out of that place because then it's like really haunted. But I've heard a ton of weird noises from the back, and I thought it was just me until one day I brought it up to one of my coworkers, and she literally said the same exact thing. She said something along the lines of like, "Oh, Milad, I sense a presence in the Subway," and I'm like, "What on earth are you talking about?" I was pretty confused when that happened, but you know, she made sense. Every time we go to the back of the store, it's a little colder. And don't even get me started about the basement of the Subway. And you know, if you look at the history of our location, I don't know, it kind of makes sense, right? There's been some strange things happening around that Subway since day one, before it was even a Subway. And I think the scariest thing that's ever happened to me while working was a bunch of knives that dropped onto the floor, literally out of nowhere, out of the bin, and I was like, well, at least it didn't land on me, right? But it literally dropped from like this height where if somebody was standing under it, I don't know, it could have done some serious damage. I'm just thankful that I wasn't standing under it that night. But whether you think it's just coincidence or if it's actually haunted, all I know is that it's still the best Subway to get a Subway sandwich at. And I've heard that if you... Has anyone ever asked to speak with the owner? Every single day we have new people coming in and out of the Subway shop. By the way, I work at Subway. I don't make burritos. This is a fun little burrito video for today. And I always put customers into 3 different buckets. The first bucket is the great customer that just comes in, orders their sandwich, and, you know, makes some conversation, does well. I call the next ones the food getters. It's people that want to come straight in and out of the store, and hey, who could blame them? I mean, I think I'm probably a food getter. Literally just go in, tell them the order, get your food, maybe make some slight conversation, and then walk straight out of the store and go devour that.
Me personally, I just don't want to make conversation. Me, go in, make hardly any conversation, get my food, get out.
Sandwich in your car or at home, specifically in front of a YouTube video, maybe a Milan Merg video, who knows. And then the third category of customer, I would call them the entitled customer. Now, there's not many entitled customers, don't get it wrong. In reality, this is probably the smallest group of customers that exist. But when you have somebody extremely entitled, oh boy, does it hurt. There's a couple of things that an entitled customer will always tell me, such as your prices got way too high, which is a fair criticism. You know, I think that Subway prices have gone up a lot, and so have literally every other price in food, but who knows? Maybe it's just Subway, I don't know. But I don't blame you for that quite. And usually they'll proceed and tell me something along lines of like, oh, you should tell the owner to lower the prices, like who's running this place? And then I'm just standing there like, oh man, that person that she's talking about is me. And well, my parents. But another thing that happens a lot is sometimes a customer doesn't want to pay as much for their sandwich as the cost is. If they're like $1 or $2 short, I'm completely fine with it. Like I'll literally cover it on the spot. There are people that just literally walk out of the store. Like I'll ring them up and I'll be like, okay, your foot-long spicy Italian is $8.25, and they'll be like, $8.25? They'll say something like, is there a manager here that I can speak with or anything? And I'll usually be like, I'm the manager, and they like won't believe me. It's the craziest thing. And in a few rare cases when I say that, they say, can I get the contact of the owner? And I'm just standing there like, I'm about to end this whole man's career. And I tell them that I am the owner. And then at that point, I just think that they think it's so ridiculous that they just walk out and never end up paying for the sandwich. But hey, what can I do, right? The price is literally on the board in front of you when you're ordering. And there is this sub-niche of people that come into the store and randomly ask for the owner of the store's number. I low-key call these the Ponzi scheme people. They're either with like some company trying to convert your business, or with somebody trying to buy the land, or just I don't even know what. And they'll be like, hey, who owns this place? Like they'll try to sneak it into conversation, and I'll be like, well, actually, like my family. And they'll just look at me like, what? Like they were expecting me to give them my parents' phone number or something. I don't even know. Please keep your Ponzi schemes to yourself. But hey, that's just the life of a Subway worker.
Just don't give anyone your phone number and you're good. Okay. When Beluga sends you his sub. Oh gosh. This is fire.
Hamburger, 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 hamburger.
How many of y'all just want to bet they just recorded the audio from one random video and just put it on here and call it a day? We're back to the fire music. Let's go. The Discord ringtone is always fire. She stole a sandwich.
Malad, have you ever had a customer run away with a sandwich? You know, oddly enough at Subway, I'd say there aren't many dine and dashers. And if you don't know what a dine and dash is, it's basically you eat the food and then you run out before you get the check. But I have had times where people have stolen sandwiches, either by mistake or on purpose. I don't know. To this day, I still don't know whether it was on purpose or not. And my go-to story whenever a question like this comes up is one day I had a DoorDash order of like 5 sandwiches that I prepared. And because I had such a long line going at the time, I had to put the order right next to the register. This means that whatever customer was checking out at the time was literally within arm's reach of the 5 sandwiches in the bag. And so I had like 3 customers online, and some girl just got like a 6-inch Italian sub. And when I went to ring it up, I like kind of rushed through it. I had to get to the next 2 or 3 customers online. And so I basically just asked her, do you want your receipt? And she said no. And so I walked off to help the next customer. And then all of a sudden, the DoorDash person came into the Subway and was basically like, yo, you got my sandwiches? And I was like, yeah, I got your sandwiches. And so I went to the back and realized that the sandwiches had gone missing. So I literally had customers online, a DoorDash driver that was standing there waiting for 5 sandwiches to be made, and literally no clue with what happened to these 5 sandwiches I already prepared. That might have been one of the most stressful times that I've ever had at Subway. And then another case is that people come in and always steal chips for some reason. It's either chips or soda. Like, those are the 2 go-tos. And my mom warned me about a lady that she saw that stuffed a bunch of drinks into her bag as she was walking out of the store. I knew exactly who this customer was because she used to come in all the time, and then she disappeared for quite a bit and then started coming back again. And well, this woman, I caught her in the act. I literally pretended to walk to the back when the store was empty, and on her way out, she opened the fridge, and then I walked straight back to the front and saw her taking a drink out. And I think she seemed shocked or something, but in the end, she ended up walking towards the counter to pay for the drink, and she was like, oh, I was gonna pay for this. And I was like, sure you were, lady. Things that happen like that just like low-key boil my blood. I mean, like, it's a drink. Just pay for it, or just get water from outside, or just ask for a water cup for free. Heck, just fill up a water cup with soda. I don't care. But when you steal from a store, especially if it's like a franchise that a family owns, that's a new level of low. And there are plenty more stories where somebody accidentally takes a sandwich that was just sitting next to the register or another customer's sandwich. So subscribe to hear those stories another day.
So you made a mess.
I imagine Milad smiling, cleaning up that mess. Now, in a recent short, I told a story about how a child was flinging their sandwich back and forth, causing a mess in the store, and I didn't really mind at the time because, like, what are you gonna do to the child? It's literally a child. Any amount of discipline that you give to any child is just gonna result in them.
It's a child. Just because it's a child doesn't mean you can't discipline, buddy.
Just drooling out of their mouths. So, like, come on. If you get mad at babies, I hate you. Anyways, there have been a fair number of times where customers leave a mess in the store. And as much as I want to say something to the customer, I am indeed just a Subway employee. And honestly, I don't blame them for leaving a mess behind in a Subway. I mean, what are you going to do? But I think I am still allowed to say that it is incredibly annoying when a customer leaves a mess in the Subway, especially when we offered, like, dine-in options. Whether it be people asking for, like, 30 napkins and then using 2 of them, or somebody leaving the remains of their sandwich onto the table. There's always something. I don't really mind if you don't push in your chair. I mean, like, I'll just do that. But if you make a pile of ketchup on the table and leave it for me to clean up, you know, I don't think there's something that could aggravate me ever as much as a pile of ketchup on a table. There's something about a pile of ketchup that is so infuriating. I mean, like, who's getting ketchup at Subway anyway? Like, if you put ketchup on your sandwich, what are we doing? But anyways, that's not the point. I once had a group of hooligan high school students. Okay, they definitely weren't hooligans, but they were, like, literally making a competition out of their sandwiches to see who could eat it the fastest. And I do love me an eating contest, but one of the kids decided that it was a genius idea to just smash the sandwich into his face and try to devour it as quickly as possible, when in reality he's just flinging pieces of sandwiches everywhere during their imaginatory Subway eating contest. And you know who gets left to clean up that poor mess? Me, Milad. 1 like on this video and 1 subscription equals 1 prayer for Milad, so please help me.
Word. Over everything on
So
the Subway
we're
menu.
at Subway in Greenville, North Carolina. Maybe asking why we're in North Carolina. It's because of this beautiful man right here. We did 10,000 turkeys for charity, and now we found a Subway. There's actually a Subway right next to our hotel, and there's a drive-thru at this Subway. I've never seen a drive-thru at a Subway before. We got the boys here, and in typical Mr. Beast or Beast Philanthropy fashion, we're gonna order every single item off of this drive-thru menu, and we're gonna take it to a soup kitchen. Let's just hope that Subway will actually believe that I want to do this, because if they don't, we might have to go to like a McDonald's or something, you know?
Subway, can I help you?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good, how about you?
I'm good. So I have a little bit of a weird request. We need something like 100 sandwiches. Is that possible?
Oh yeah, 300, 400, 500, but you have to put the deposit first.
Oh, of course, yeah. We will pay before.
Yeah, $60,000 deposit, and then we'll go further.
$60,000? Wait, are you being serious?
No.
Oh, you're not being serious. Okay, all right, thank God. You're about to bankrupt me for Subway. All right, so basically, I want to get like 1 of everything on the menu. So we need 100 sandwiches total. So we'll do like 1 steak and cheese.
Come to window.
All right, I'm coming to the window right now. What's your name?
Mr. Patel?
Mr. Patel. We have Mr. Patel. So we'll do like 1 of the meatball, 1 of the steak, like 1 of everything, but then the
Tell him to make a Milad sub.
Ooh, that's a genius idea, Darren.
I'm a genius.
Could I have 1 special request? Could you do, so this is for me. I call it a Milad sub because my name's Milad. Could you do a turkey with American cheese, lettuce, mayo, and red Doritos? So you could do 101 sandwiches. Okay. That would be the extra 1. Subway, that's the menu. So,
$901.79.
okay,
including tax.
Round it up to 1,000 and the rest is for you guys, okay?
Hey, Tom, it's Darren. I got Milad here. He's gonna give you some news.
Hey, Tom.
Cool. Hey, what's going on, man?
So you run the soup kitchen here in Greenville, North Carolina, right?
Yeah, it's actually the only soup kitchen in the whole county.
Wow, I did not know that. Well, that's awesome. You guys are doing awesome stuff. Thank you for making the world a little better. I just got 100 sandwiches at Subway to bring for you guys tonight, 100 footlongs. I just want to double check, make sure that that's okay with you and it's okay if we come and drop them off and everything.
That's more than
Bro,
okay with me. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you. Wait, you said that you were
can't-
buying food
bro,
right now
the
for the
fact that I'm
kitchen?
watching
Yeah, I'm over at Fred's
on
Food
Instagram
Truck.
I
right
want to
now.
pay for that and give you guys a donation as
Instagram
well.
video,
So when
that's
we
just-
come there, I'm going to
these
write
things
you
are
a check
crazy.
for $1,000, okay?
Hey, man, I appreciate it. All right, and I'll see you guys when you get over to the kitchen about 4:30 or so.
Sounds good, man. Thank you. Okay, so it's like
Bro,
3
man's
hours
accent is
later, and we're
crazy.
back at the Subway. I got a phone call. They said they finished all the sandwiches, and now let's see what happened. We're back.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Good. How are you? We're gonna pull up to the window, okay?
Okay.
Hey, how's it going?
Your order is ready completely.
Our order's ready?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's do it. The Milad. There we go. They literally wrote it on there.
This is one is all hot sandwich.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. And then we're gonna wrap around, okay? We'll go to the front.
Okay.
This is Jay. Jay helped make all these sandwiches, and you watched the videos. You got a message for the people?
Oh, eat fresh.
Oh,
That's it, your special gift.
This is my special gift. What's the special gift gonna be? Oh, cookies! Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. You're the man. Thank you.
All right.
Great people of Greenville, North Carolina. Come support their Subway. All right, let's bring these out. Wow. A lot of sandwiches. 100 sandwiches. Next stop, the soup kitchen. Let's go. This is Tom. He runs the soup kitchen right here. Tom, you want to tell him a little bit about the soup kitchen?
This is the only soup kitchen in Pitt County, and we're serving about 250 people here a day, 100 at night, 150 during the day for lunch, and I really appreciate you calling me today, because this is really huge, because these people are in for a treat tonight.
Dude, of course. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. No, thank you.
Let's get these subs inside. So, Tom, I actually have something for you. This is $1,000. So, hopefully you guys can do with this what you will. Hopefully it just helps, you know?
This helps huge, because you know what? This section right here cost me $250 today.
Wow.
You're gonna fill these sections up 4 times for me.
Wow.
And
I love
you know
to
what?
hear
You
that,
just
man.
for Christmas and Thanksgiving, you just hooked us up huge. Oh yeah. What on that?
All right, almost done. Hopefully, I called 911 for ice cream. I think this one is one of the first. This one was one of the first videos I've ever seen for this guy. I think this one I just remember
Mel,
vividly.
have you ever dialed 911? So there was a time when I was a kid where I called 911 for ice cream. And as ridiculous as this may sound, please just let me have this minute to explain myself. I promise the reason is very valid. But anyways, there was a day where I was just chilling on the couch with my older brother. And if you have an older brother, you definitely know that older brothers love to mess with you. I was the youngest growing up, so like, I was just always the one getting picked on, unfortunately. But you know, the youngest are the favorite, what can I say? But yeah, I must have been like 6 or 7 years old into this crazy world. And me and my brother were literally just sitting there watching ESPN with me having no idea what's going on. And he hands me the house phone, and he wasn't even that much older than me. He must be like 9 or 10 at the time. And he goes, Milad, call 911 and we'll get ice cream. And my little child brain processed this as, you know, I've heard the word 911 before, and I do want ice cream right now. So the only logical outcome that can happen by me dialing 911 in this phone is to get free ice cream. And so my brother had completely convinced me, and I dialed those numbers into the phone. And at that moment, I messed up. Now, something that I learned that day, back in the day, if you even dialed 911 from a house phone and like actually rang the number, the police would just always show up at your house to make sure everything's okay. And so I did just that, and well, surprise or not, a police officer showed up at our house, and my mom opened the door and she's like, what is going on? And obviously, like, the police officer's gonna take everything very seriously. So like, they're all just completely confused as to what's happening, and then I'm running over to the door like, free ice cream! And well, I think at that moment the officer kind of knew what was happening. And so basically they left. My mom was mad at me, my brother was disappointed that there was no ice cream, and I was also disappointed that there was no ice cream. But if you subscribe, I'll give you
Read this and actually do it, please. I'm going broke soon. Meeting Mr. Beast.
Malad,
crazy.
how was meeting Mr. Beast in real life? So I've met Mr. Beast 3 times in my life, and I thought that today is the perfect day to talk about my experiences meeting him, especially because he literally has a #1 video on the platform, and perhaps the #1 video to ever exist on YouTube with Squid Game. And some of you may be saying, Malad, you're just clout chasing at this point. That is not my intention, and every single dollar that is made from this video's AdSense is going to go straight to Mr. Beast's charity. Shout out to Beast Philanthropy. I love those people. But yes, I've had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Beast 3 different times. The first time was about like 5 or 6 months ago, where we gave 50,000 cookies away to charity. I brought 2 of my friends, RJ and Joe, along with me, and we cooked cookies with Mr. Beast charity for like 3 days straight, and we were able to crank 50,000 cookies to give to the local community. And that had to be one of the most fun times I've ever had in my entire life. And the night before we actually did the distribution, Jimmy came to the warehouse and actually invited us all over to come hang out at his house. Something I never would have in a million years expected, but it just goes to show how much of a bro this man is. Like, when you meet a YouTuber, you never really know what to expect. But when I met Mr. Beast, he was just extremely down to earth. Like, he was just a normal person, you know, with his passion for YouTube and his passion of doing great things for the world. So my first immediate impression when I met Mr. Beast was, wow, this is just like a normal guy that's insanely good at YouTube and insanely good at entertaining people and leaving a positive impact on the world. And I'm sorry, you guys are gonna be like, he's gassing him up, but like, this was just shocking to me. I couldn't believe that I could meet somebody that's so dedicated to his craft that at the end of the day is just like a normal human being like me and you. It's insanely inspiring, and the fact that he invited us without even knowing us to his house to play games and hang out for a couple hours that just spoke volume. And that was my first impression of meeting Mr. Beast, and I actually got the chance to meet Carl Jacobs, Chandler, and Chris eventually too, and Nolan, I love you. And they're all like great people. Like, I think there's this misconception that YouTubers are always on, or like YouTubers are just money hungry people that like do things for clout, but this is just so not true. These were all just regular dudes, and they were some of the nicest people I think I've met. So it's this really cool thing when the people that are succeeding and at the top of this YouTube stuff and even this internet stuff are actually incredibly nice and generous people. Like, it just kind of goes to show that the nicer you are and the more that you do for others, the more successful you can become and the more fulfilled you become with everything. And so that first impression of me and Jimmy was awesome. We gave away 50,000 cookies, and then I got to meet him again in LA a couple months later, and again when we gave 10,000 turkeys to charity a few weeks ago. Well, he gave $10,000 to charity. I was just there to help out as a volunteer. And every time in the middle of being busy with like 10,000 different things, he took a second to come over and have a couple minutes of conversation with me, which I mean is just pretty wholesome and insane. So Jimmy, if you're watching this, I'm sorry for using your name for a title and thumbnail. You're the GOAT, brother, and all this money is going to go to Beast Philanthropy charity. So share this video with your grandma so the charity even gets more AdSense. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, it helps me out so much.
There's nothing on my sandwich. My sandwich.
As a Subway worker, I'm obviously inclined to just put whatever you want onto your sandwich. But you know, there are times where
Whatever I want, I can put multiple things on that. So you tell me I can just bring my own ingredient and get on there like nothing. Okay, that's sounding weird. No, nothing bad. I'm just gonna be quiet. Okay.
where it goes too far. I mean, I think I'm a pretty lenient guy. I literally put cookies onto sandwiches for people. But the other day, I was making myself a sandwich, and the question arose in my mind, when is it too much ingredient on a sandwich? Or any of these places that you literally pick your ingredients, when are you asking for too much? Because I noticed that places like Chipotle, Subway, and a lot of other new fast food places that you literally get to pick your ingredients, and you can just keep saying more and more and more, and usually the worker complies. And I mean, I comply every time. Like, if somebody wants a fistful of black olives, I always put it on. But with these types of places, when is enough enough? For example, I had somebody come in and literally ask me to put like half of the tub of lettuce onto their sandwich, and in my mind, I'm just thinking, like, I mean, it's lettuce, but I feel like I should be charging extra for this, and I hate charging extra for stuff. Like, I'm the first person to say that none of these places should be charging extra for cheese or guac, but they all do. But if you're getting like half a bag of lettuce, what do I do in that scenario? Like, I can't tell the customer no, because like that goes against my very essence as a Subway worker. But I also worry that I'm wasting the entire supply on this one person, and they don't even realize. It's quite the dilemma. And don't even get me started on the 8 black olive rule, which reminds me, I feel like the person that you're ordering a sandwich or a burrito or whatever you're getting from is going to determine exactly how it is. Like, if you're getting me, I'm totally going to load up your sandwich with whatever you want. But I've had experiences where I've walked into Subways before, and the person literally doesn't put anything on the sandwich. Tell me what you think. How much is too much on a sandwich or burrito or whatever these places are?
Subway opened a cookie shop.
I haven't talked to Subway in months, and they call me out of the blue to come to their cookie shop all the way in New York City. So in order to open this cookie shop, we had to do a few things.
It took a little bit to get here, but with the work of our whole team, we were able to open a shop that celebrates all of Subway's cookies, and we're baking 17,000 cookies to give away today. And any donations go to Make-A-Wish of Metro New York.
Well said. I couldn't have said it any better than that. All right, in 5 minutes, we're opening those doors, and the lines are already starting to form. And we're gonna let people inside and give them a ton of free cookies. Doors are opening now. Doors are opening. I'm just here. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm here so I don't get fired.
Make him do some work.
Get to work. Get to work.
What can I do?
This is not a day off.
I'm pointing.
Okay.
I got a job. We're gonna tell people to take photos and point to the jar. We're also accepting donations and you can take your photos.
Great job, Noah. Oh my God, I love this dog. Oh my God.
Oh, let's go.
After working in the shop for a while, I was invited to the back to see how the cookies were made. I'm with Brad now, and we're gonna show you guys how the cookies actually get made. So this is where all the cookies are being baked. This is where that, whoa.
Oh, it smells so good in here.
There's so many cookies in here, and it's insane how many cookies were made in just a day.
We have 2 stacked ovens for convection, 5 pans in each one of 24, 240 cookies every 15 minutes, roughly pushing it close to 1,000 per hour.
1,000 cookies per hour. We need more people to get some free cookies. So we came out here with the sign. We were trying to get people to get free cookies. Free! Free! Free!
Free cookies!
You guys here at the Cookie Way, okay? I got the specialty package that you said to get.
Can we do a cookie review?
I'll tell you what, let me go.
That's a good. Not bad, right?
It was good. It's crunchy but soft.
Exactly.
Can you give me a review? Out of 10, what do you say?
Guys, at least a 9.6.
Oh, good. That's a
Okay,
good rating.
9.6 right here.
Do you guys want more? I guess you have more, sir.
Yeah,
All right. I'll bring 3
Okay.
more packs, all right? One for all 3 of you.
Thank you.
All right, so we gotta get 4 packs for this kind gentleman over there.
Yeah,
Guys,
right here. I
waters,
love
all right?
cookies.
Thank you. 6 waters. All right, we'll be right back. Very good. And that is how Subway invited me to help them open a cookie shop.
Homeless man comes in. Oh no.
Every now and then, a homeless person comes into our store, and it could go one of 2 ways. Sometimes a homeless person is extremely nice, and they just might want a free bite. But other times, there have been cases where a homeless person would come in and start to disrupt, maybe talk to customers or start making very loud noises. And even in one case, I had a homeless person in the bathroom for like over an hour. But these are 2 very, very different scenarios that each need to be dealt with properly. I think in the first scenario, if you're a business owner, much like my family, and you have a homeless person come into the store, I really think that you should give them free food. There's always going to be this side of the argument that's like, well, if you give them free food, they're just always going to come back, and they're just going to expect free food every single time. But in our experience, that hasn't really happened. Sure, it's happened like 1 or 2 times, but the wide majority of the time, we'll never see the person again, and we were able to help them in such a small way to us, but in such a big way to them. So it baffles me when people say not to help the homeless. I mean, I know it can look like your efforts are going completely to waste, but in reality, you're probably doing such a huge service to whoever that person is just by something so small to you. So for you to think I'm not going to take $1 out, or I'm not going to, give this person that needs help coming into my store help, it's something so small but could go so far for you. But now the second scenario, okay, now this is a completely different scenario. To me, this has literally only ever happened once in my entire Subway career. And I had somebody who was most likely homeless come into our old Subway and start to ask the customers online for money. After the first time he did it, I was like, yo, just like hold on there, sit there, I'll take care of you after I help these customers. Just trying to be like as nice as possible, right? But every single time a customer would come in, he would literally get up and start to just go up to the customer and say, sir, can I have some money? I felt bad, so I'm pretty sure I gave him like $1 or 2 or something. But after like the 3rd customer, I had enough, and I was like, sir, I'm really sorry, but I have to ask you to leave. You can come back when we're not busy, but I told you once not to solicit people for money. And I mean, he took it like a champ and left, but he came back, and well, he actually apologized, and I'm pretty sure he got himself like a couple cookies or something. Like the video, comment your wholesome story, and peace.
Health inspector failed us. Oh, dang it,
In my
another
parents'
long one.
22 years of owning and operating Subway stores, they have never failed a health inspection, but all of this changed about a week ago. It was just another ordinary day at Subway. I had gotten to work about 10 minutes early before the lunch rush, and I could already tell that this was going to be a busy day, but when I walked into the store, I was quickly greeted by somebody that said, "Hey, I'm the health inspector." And I thought to myself, okay, piece of cake. I mean, it's kind of weird that you came at lunch rush. It's a little busy, but come to the back and let's take care of everything. So in most cases, what a health inspector does is they literally just walk around the store and start doing whatever tests that they need to do. And honestly, we just give them free reign to go ahead and check anything because once again, we have never failed a health inspection. This was like business as usual. But as I was helping customers with my coworker, it seemed like this health inspector had something out to get us. And you guys are like, no, Milad, you're crazy. The health inspector was clearly not out to get you. They're just doing their job like they're supposed to. But wait until I tell you how this all went
Hi,
down.
cool
So we had
guy.
a
How
line
are
of
you
about
doing?
3 customers that we were helping to make sandwiches. And as me and my coworker were making these sandwiches, this health inspector comes directly up to us and was like, "I need you to come with me for a minute." And I'm like, well, I'm kind of helping customers right now, and it's literally the busiest time that we have at Subway. And this person was just not taking no for an answer. So I was like, okay, let's go. But then as more customers walked in and I was feeling the pressure, I was like, okay, you have to give me a few minutes. I have to go help my customers. So while I was helping a line of customers, this health inspector went around and started looking at our chips. And we had one type of chip that expired the previous day. Like, it literally expired the day before this entire thing happened. And we've had this happen before, and obviously we're always going to check our dates and make sure that we're not giving anything expired to the customers. And if we are, we would just remove it literally immediately. But this health inspector started to take the bags of chips in front of all of our customers and literally start tossing them onto the counter. In my mind, I was thinking, what is going on right now? Like, is this allowed? But I didn't want to say anything because I knew that would just make this person upset. So I let it go, you know. I just kind of kept making my sandwiches and pretending like nothing happened, was apologizing to the customers. It wasn't a big deal. But then after we get done with the lunch rush, the health inspector comes up to me and shows me a few things. Basically, the 2 things that were wrong with our store was, one, our sanitizer wasn't like a certain pH level or whatever's used to measure how acidic a sanitizer is. I don't know the exact thing, but I was kind of dumbfounded by this because
pH meter. I learned that in science somehow. Yeah, crazy. I learned something in science. That's one of the first times that's ever happened.
I use a sanitizer every day, and I knew for a fact that it didn't fail. And so I went to the back with the health inspector, and we literally poured a bucket of sanitizer in and tested it right on the spot, and it passed. Like with flying colors, there was literally nothing wrong with it. And I think that this kind of upset the person because then they go and they say there's no soap or any paper towels in the bathroom, so I'm gonna have to fail your store. I asked, how is that fair? I could just go replace the soap right now. And I actually went to do that, and they said, nope, how am I supposed to trust you? And I'm like, I'm just literally gonna change it right in front of you. Like, it's not a big deal. And then I walk into the bathroom, and there's a roll of paper towels right there. And I said, I thought there was no paper towels. And they were like, oh, well, the paper towels can't be sitting out. They have to be inside of the paper towel machine. And I go, clearly my coworker was gonna do it, but it's literally a lunch rush and he probably got interrupted by a customer. And this person was just not having it. So at the end of the day, I said, so we're failing because we didn't have soap in the machine in the bathroom? And they said, yes, this is where employees are required to wash their hands. And then I walk out of the bathroom to the literal hand wash section right behind our counter where we use every single time to wash our hands for a sandwich. And this person was just not having it. So I just said, okay, just send us the report and we'll take care of it. I mean, these are like the easiest fixes in the world. I'm literally gonna fix it right now. And then later on, we got the report, and this person wrote down the sanitizer failed and there was no paper towels in the bathroom. I didn't even know what to do at this point. So my mom contacted her person at Subway. It's like a regional manager, and told him the entire situation. And Subway was actually very forgiving. They were like, I can't believe that this has happened. They don't even do the inspections themselves. They like outsource it to a third-party company. And this person knew that we've never failed a health inspection before. So this was one of those moments where we're just kind of like, what is going on? Needless to say, we fixed all the problems in the store, and it's completely fine like it's always been. I mean, we were told by Subway themselves that we have one of the cleanest stores. So it was just kind of a crazy situation. And you know what would really help me alleviate from that crazy situation? If you like this video and subscribe. Have a beautiful...
We're slowly but surely getting up there. Subway's old technique, V-cut.
Time and time again, you guys surprise me with new Subway lore, and today's lore is the biggest Subway Easter egg that you may ever see. Now, back in the day, before I was even ever born, there was this way of cutting the Subway sandwich that quite literally transcended the sub. They call this a V-cut. Now, what a V-cut is literally cutting a V into the top of the sandwich, taking out that top, and then stuffing your sub full of the ingredients, and then putting that top back onto the sandwich. Now, I had so many questions when I first started making the sandwich. my immediate question was, what if I want the sandwich toasted? Like, I felt like if I just wanted to get the sub toasted, this throws off the entire method that Subway implemented for like their first 50 years of existing. By the way, this was the way that Subway used to cut their sandwich every single time before the traditional cut. And so I decided I'm gonna throw the sandwich into the toaster. And you know, I wasn't the smartest person because it literally did nothing. It just toasted the bread. So it completely worked. But then I thought to myself, so like, what if I throw sauce onto it? Isn't it gonna get messy? Like, how is this gonna sustain itself as an actual sandwich? And how am I gonna be able to eat this thing? So I did exactly that. I threw some sauce. I threw a ton of veggies into the sub. And surprisingly, it did nothing. It was literally just another sandwich, but with a cool cut. I like it cut, G. So my question now is, why did Subway get rid of this cut? And I think it's for one of two reasons. Number one, I think it's extremely difficult to do this. If a line's out the door and you're trying to do a V-cut on every single Subway sandwich, the customer's literally going to stand there and be like, what is this person doing? Just cut the bread. And I think the second reason is that it gets a little sloppy to eat a sandwich this way. When I tried to eat this sub, you know, I thought it was all fine and dandy in the beginning until the ingredients actually started to like soak over into the bread, and it was just a complete mess. And to be honest, it didn't really change the way that the sub tasted like at all, but it was pretty cool to eat. I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I discovered something special, like a literal Subway Easter egg. The V-cut transcends time, and I'm really happy that a subscriber told me to do the V-cut. So leave below in the comments what Subway Easter egg or what Subway trick I should try next, and please like this video and subscribe. I love you forever, and take care. Peace.
The real way to make Subway.
Please don't show Subway this video. The other day I had a video go number 5 trending on YouTube, and it was about how Subway have been making their sandwiches wrong this whole time. Now the reason that I say please don't show Subway this video is because, well, this video might just get me fired. Okay, not really, but this is something that I can't believe that I've never thought of until this moment. So hear me out. We all know how Subway makes their sandwiches with just slicing the bread directly in between the loaves, but traditionally at home we slice the loaf the other way. I mean, just think about how weird it would be to take an entire loaf of bread and just cut it through the center of the side and use the loaf to make a sandwich. Now, if Subway made their sandwiches as if they were toast, you know, like cut from the loaf toast, a footlong could make something like 6 sandwiches. And this isn't an exaggeration. These might be like finger sandwiches, I will admit. They're pretty miniature, but nonetheless, it's still a sandwich. And when I discussed this on the short, I quickly got greeted by a rude awakening. Subway makes the sandwiches that they do because it's a sub, as if it's like a submarine. And you know, I'm just not buying it. I am starting conspiracy against Subway. They have normalized to eat an entire loaf of bread, even though it's delicious, where we could just be treating the sandwiches as toast. I also had my coworkers try it, and they said it was really good. But once again, please don't show Subway this video. And Subway, if you're watching, please don't
touch the glass.
I don't know if you guys have ever been to a fast food place that has a glass, kind of like Subway or Chipotle, where they kind of make all the food right in front of you. But one of the biggest things about these types of places that the employees ask is please don't touch the glass. And before I tell you why, please be sure to subscribe. Something like 84% of you watching this video aren't subscribed, so if you hit that button, it really helps me out. So a lot of people will go to a fast food restaurant and tend to point at the items that they want, which I don't blame them at all. I mean, I used to do this as a kid all the time, until one day I got yelled at by a Chipotle employee because I was touching the glass. And you know, to this day, I still kind of hold resentment against that Chipotle employee, but now I understand completely why they didn't want me touching the glass. Cleaning that glass at Subway, and I'm sure at Chipotle and any other place like this, is such a pain in the butt. At least at Subway, we could kind of take the glass down and clean it that way, but we literally have to empty the entire front just to clean the glass. And if there are smudges on it, well, it makes the restaurant look kind of dirty for some reason. So one day, I had a customer come in that started pointing and was rubbing his hands all over the glass. And you know, I said something along the lines of like, hey, could you please not touch the glass? I'm sorry. I just really don't want to clean it. I was trying to be super nice. The dude takes one look at me and then one look back down at the sandwich and starts pointing and putting his fingers back on the glass. And one of my coworkers saw this and they were like, oh no, you're not about to do this because I just spent 10 minutes cleaning that glass and I'm not about to spend 10 minutes more. So my employee literally goes to the customer, hey, he just nicely asked you not to touch the glass, so please just don't touch it. And he looks at both of us and goes, why should I care whether or not I touch the glass? I'm just trying to get a sandwich and I want to make it easier. And so I'm like, oh man, something's about to go down. Get my popcorn out and start listening. And you know, the customer's always right. You should never fight back with customers, like never under any circumstances. But my coworker, well, she wasn't about to let a customer be rude to her. And she said something along the lines of like, did your mama not raise you right? If somebody's asking you very kindly not to do something and you're in their home, I mean, Subway's not my home, but like, I guess it works. You should respect that person. And you know, in my mind, I'm like, yes, go off. You're 100% right, but I can't say that myself because I'm afraid. And then the guy was like, whatever, man. Like, he just kept putting his hands back on the glass. And at this point, I just wanted to make the sandwich and get him out of there so I could clean the glass again. My coworker was having none of it. She got so mad that she had to go to the back, and I still had to help the customer while he was like rubbing his hands all over the glass. There were smudges everywhere. So I want to hear your opinion in the comments. Were we in the wrong for calling the guy out for putting his hands on the glass? Subscribe for a free cookie and have a beautiful day. Peace.
Peace. Wait, we're finally in the 2-year mark. Let's go. After entirely too long, we are finally in the 2-year mark. I waited entirely too long for that. Oh, okay. Don't spit in my food. So we're still quite a bit away. But Wednesday night we could probably finish this.
It's 2022, and I can't believe spitting in people's food is still a thing. But before we discuss this horrible phenomenon, 77% of you guys are not subscribed that watch these videos. So if you are part of that 77%, please subscribe. It would really make my day. Since I was a kid, it was always pretty shocking to me that in a lot of Western media, restaurants are portrayed to spit in people's food a lot. So much so that I was always afraid of going to restaurants or diners as a kid for this exact reason. And as I grew older and older, I made sure that every single time I go to a restaurant or any food place, I would be extraordinarily nice to the person that is either handling my food or handling my order, because my mind was just programmed in this way from watching TV and movies where I'm just so afraid if somebody spits in my food, and I'm kind of a germaphobe myself, so it's just like a phobia for me. And you know, when I turned like 15 or 16, I never really even thought of this twice, but one day when I was 19 years old, I was having a full-blown conversation with one of my friends about working in food, and he told me that at the restaurant he worked in, there were chefs that regularly spit in people's food. And mind you, this is a restaurant that I went to dozens of times. In that moment, I was literally shocked. I bet my face like turned blue when he said that. If you're coming to Subway, obviously you're never getting spit in your sandwich. Like, that's why I really like the places where they make the food right in front of you, because you know exactly what's going on. But once he told me this, I literally never wanted to go to a restaurant again. And thank goodness, after like 15 minutes of messing with me, he told me that he was lying and he was just trying to literally get a reaction out of me, which he did. He very much succeeded. But this got me curious, and I looked into the crime implications of somebody spitting on food. And did you know that people have literally gone to jail for spitting on food? This is the justice that I am looking for. Imagine going into jail and being like, what'd you get in for? And somebody's like, oh, I killed someone. And the other person's like, I sold illegal substances. And you're just sitting there like, I spit on people's food. And everyone in the jail just gasps, because that is literally the biggest crime of them all. But seriously, if you're a person that goes and works at a restaurant and spits in people's food, even if they are extremely rude to you, you do not belong in this society. Somebody's giving you the utmost trust with one of the most beloved things on earth, food, and you're just taking that trust and destroying it. So I really hope that I didn't make anybody fearful of going to restaurants, and if I did, I'm sorry.
I'm joking. I didn't burn it.
Has a customer ever scammed you? It was another fine afternoon at the Subway. The birds were chirping outside, it was springtime, and everything just seemed perfect until this woman walked in. Now mind you, on the average day we don't really have much foot traffic, but on this particular day we were extremely busy, and when you're busy sometimes you mess up an order every now and then, but this was not that case. So as I was moving along the line, I had this lady walk up to the counter and say, let me get a foot-long BMT, and she said, I want the sandwich heavily toasted. Now when somebody says to heavily toast a sandwich like a BMT, I'm usually going to treat it as if it's like a steak sandwich or a chicken sandwich, because those get heavily toasted. So instead of like the usual 28 seconds that a BMT will get toasted, we'll toast it for 40. And if they want it extra toasty, sometimes we'll toast it for 60 seconds, but I rarely do that. You gotta have some cojones to toast a sandwich for 60 seconds. But anyways, as the line is moving forward, I toast this woman's sandwich, and when I take it out of the toaster, she takes one look at it, and she goes, nuh-uh, this is not gonna work. And I was like, what happened? And she was basically like, you over toasted my sandwich. Now you may be expecting this sandwich to be black or even like a dark brown, but this sandwich was literally like a light brown color, and it was by no means burnt. Extra toasty? Yes, it was definitely extra toasty. That's because she asked for it to be extra toasty. But you know, I complied after going a little back and forth with her, telling her that she asked for the sandwich extra toasty, but I didn't really want to have an argument that day. And so I go back and I make the same exact sandwich again, and I decided that I was gonna just keep that sandwich for myself. And she goes to me, well, what are you gonna do with that other sandwich? And well, I basically said something along the lines of like, I'm gonna eat it on my lunch break. And I think that kind of rubbed her the wrong way, because I guess she thought that I thought that the sandwich was perfectly fine, which I did. And she basically said something along the lines of like, oh no, sweetheart, you gotta throw that sandwich out. Matter of fact, give it to me and I'll throw it out for you. And I'm like, wait a second. You just want a free sandwich. I have seen this bamboozle before and I'm not falling for it. So I told her I'm good and I rang her up and let her go on her way. Lads, if somebody comes into your store asking for an extra toasty sandwich, beware of the extra toasty sandwich scam.
So his most famous employee.
Malad, talk about the Walmart yodeling kid working at Subway. So you heard that right. The Walmart yodeling kid, aka Mason Ramsey, now works at Subway. And if you have no idea who I'm talking about, basically a few years ago, this kid went viral on the internet for literally yodeling in a Walmart. And it was one of the biggest memes in 2018. And I gotta admit, it was probably one of my favorite memes. And recently, over the past week, he's resurfaced on TikTok, dropping a new song. And the way he's been promoting this song is literally by working his job at Subway. Now, as much as I'd love to take credit for this marketing strategy that is purely genius, I could take zero credit. I actually never have even talked to the kid, and I have comments that ask me like, Malad, do you know about this? And I'm like, well, I know about this now, but it's pretty insane. So Mason Ramsey is basically in Subway promoting his song at the age of 15, and in a week he's gained a little over 800,000 followers on TikTok for sitting in Subway with his song in the background. Now, my honest opinion is that this is the single greatest Subway employee that we've ever seen in the whole history of Subway. I mean, could you ask for a better representative for the company? It's like such a full circle moment. If I'm being honest, I really expected him to start working at a Walmart. I mean, it only makes sense, right? But it seems as though his parents are forcing him to get a job at the age of 15, which is probably one of the smartest things I've ever heard of a parent to do. I mean, you really don't want somebody like this turning out like Cash Me Outside, how about that? Like that girl. Like, that is the prime example of internet meme gone wrong. Okay, wait, never mind. I just checked her Instagram and she has 16.5 million followers, so I literally know nothing about internet memes going wrong, I guess. Sorry, Cash Me Outside girl. I didn't mean to offend you. But anyways, this still could have been an internet meme gone wrong, and this seems to be the prime example of internet meme gone right. He's just living his normal life as a kid, still doing the thing he loves, which is clearly music, and somehow integrating it into his regular everyday life while living a normal life with his family. So major props to Mason Ramsey. I'm proud of you for working at Subway, and if somehow you're watching this video, I have one suggestion for you. If you make one TikTok yodeling in that Subway, I guarantee that TikTok goes insanely viral. Think about it, Mason. Think about it.
Should I do it? I'm tempted. When you scroll too much, that's crazy for what I just did. I'll take the usual. Who are you?
I feel like there's this awkward moment in every single fast food or just regular food worker's life where they're asked, can I get the usual? And they look straight into the eyes of the customer and say, who on earth are you? But nobody's actually going to say, who on earth are you? I mean, that would be kind of rude if I'm being honest. But you know, this used to happen to me all the time when I first started working at Subway. I would consider myself a pretty outgoing guy, and one of the perks of being an outgoing person is you get to talk to people every single day, and especially at Subway, you get to talk to like 30 people within 2 or 3 hours. And well, I think that the fact that I talk to these people makes them believe that I have their sandwich to a T memorized. And this doesn't go for everybody. Obviously, there are people that come in and just order their sandwich regularly. But every now and then, I would have this person come in and just simply say to me, let me get the usual, buddy. And I would look at this man and be like, I have never seen this person in my life. How am I going to remember what the usual is if I don't even remember you ever walking into the store? And so one afternoon when this happened, a customer came into the store that I had never seen before in my entire life. And he said, can I get the usual? And this was one of the first times this has ever happened to me. So in my mind, I'm going through these two different thought patterns. One, do I try to guess what this person's order is and just be completely wrong and embarrass myself? Or two, should I just simply say to this man, I have no idea who you are. I'm really sorry, sir, but please just tell me what your sandwich is so that I can understand exactly what you want. And for some reason, my peewee brain decided to go with the first option, and I started to completely guess what this person's order was. I thought in my mind that I had an idea of what they ordered before, but in reality, I had no idea who this person was. So I go to put the bread onto the line, and I quickly realized, wow, I've gotten myself into quite the predicament, because the customer isn't even in front of me anymore. They're literally across the Subway on their phone, and I'm standing here with a loaf of bread thinking to myself, what on earth has this person gotten in the past? And well, after about 30 seconds of cutting the bread, the slowest 30 seconds I've ever experienced in my life, I decided to speak up for myself. And while I said, sir, I'm sorry, I have no idea what you ordered. And the man takes one look at me, takes his sunglasses down from his eyes, and says to me, why didn't you tell me that 2 minutes ago? And in those couple of simple words, the man simply defeated me. Comment what you think that man ordered and subscribe.
We're not watching these either, just because.
Millard, what would you do if someone forgot their wallet? I find it pretty fascinating how you could go out to a restaurant or a fast food place like a Subway and just completely forget the only thing that you needed to bring. But you know, it happens, and it's happened to me before too. I mean, I can't really say that I've gone to a food place and forgotten my wallet, but I've gone driving and I've forgotten my wallet before, and it's not fun at all. So you know, if somebody walks into the Subway and they order their entire sandwich, even 2 sandwiches, maybe even 3 sandwiches, and they forgot their wallet, well, there's usually one of 3 things that'll happen. The first one is they'll say, oh, I forgot my wallet in my car, I'll be right back, and then they never are right back. The second option is that they'll be like, yo, I forgot my wallet, I don't really know what to do, I'm kind of embarrassed, and then they'll drive home and then come back just to get their cold, soggy sandwich. Whenever they offer this, I'm just kind of like, hey man, just come back and pay tomorrow, especially if they're a regular. And this poses the question, because some people are like, what if they say they're a regular, but they're not really a regular, and they just kind of scam you out of a sandwich? And I'm like, well, I'll kind of know if they're a regular, and I'm sure my employees will know if they're a regular too, just by their regularness in the store when we serve them. But anyways, the third and most vital option is I'll just hand them a mop and they start mopping, or I'll take apart the sandwich and put every ingredient back in the bin. No, I'm kidding, we would never do that, but I put out a couple videos in the past where I said that we did that, and well, it caused some outrage in my comment section, so those videos were not real. I'm sorry to break it to you. We would never make a customer start mopping to earn their sandwich, unless they wanted to, of course, you know. But I think this is a PSA to everybody. Whenever you go to your next favorite fast food place, aka a Subway or whatever it may be, please don't forget your wallet.
I thought I was getting robbed.
Malad, tell us a robbery story. You guys really like hearing about how I almost get robbed, huh? So there was this one night where I was working alone at the store. It must have been like 9 o'clock at night, and my Subway's in a really safe area. It's like literally 30 seconds away from a police station, so I'm usually never on alert, because like if something happens, the cops are here within like 10 seconds. There was a night that I was in the fridge doing everything I had to do with my headphones in, and all of a sudden I heard a bang at the window. I thought to myself, well, this might just be weather, I don't even know what this is, but I completely ignored it. And then I heard it again, and at this point I was a little sussed out, but at the same time I was kind of like, whatever, it must not be a big deal, like maybe it's just some kids pulling a prank or something. And then I heard a really loud bang a third time, and I literally took my headphones out, walked outside, and looked around, and there was nobody there. So I was like, something weird is going on. And so I went back into the restaurant, locked the door, and basically turned off the lights, and I went back to closing the store. And I decided I was going to close a little early because, well, the store usually closes at 9:30 and it was 9 o'clock, but this was a pretty peculiar instance. And I'm in the back, and all of a sudden I hear the door in the front open. I'm thinking to myself, this is impossible. How on earth did somebody just get into the store when I just locked the door? And so my immediate reaction was run. I started to walk towards the front, and then I started to run towards the back, and I heard a scream, and I was like, what is going on right now? Like, this store, there's no way this store could ever get robbed. There's no way anybody could ever get in, because I literally locked the door. And it's got to be some sort of maniac that's trying to do this. And so while in the back of the store, I end up calling my mom, and she didn't answer. So I'm like, okay, I'm going out there, I'm gonna face my fears and figure out what this is. That's a terrible idea, by the way. If something like this ever happens to you, literally run out the emergency door right away. Don't be a hero, especially not for a fast food job at Subway. But for some reason, I was trying to be a hero. And so I run out to the front, and I realized the entire time it was my brother messing with me.
Sorry, cool guy keeps texting me, and we're trying to plan something out. I should have been arrested.
Malad, have you ever had any encounters with cops? One of the craziest stories that I've ever experienced in my life was right after I got my driver's license. There was a night where I was home alone and I had literally just got my license and was going out and hanging out with my friends and just having a great night. And all of a sudden my mom called me and told me that the person that was working at the store didn't have the key. In case you don't know, whenever you're closing a restaurant, you have to lock it up with a key, and I guess the person who was working just forgot their key at home or something. Can't blame them, it happens to me all the time. But for some reason, I wasn't happy because I really wanted to hang out with my friends, so I decided it would be a great idea to rush home. And well, I started driving home and I was booking it. I'm not a fast driver at all. I gotta say, like, I'm probably one of the slowest drivers. My friends tell me that all the time. But I just got my license and I thought I was like speed racer or something, so I decided to go on my road. And my road is a 25-mile-per-hour road, and I had to rush home to get my keys, so I was going 71 miles per hour apparently on my road. That's what the officer said he saw me at, but I was pretty sure I was going like 50 miles per hour. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I was going way too fast on my road, and as I'm pulling into my driveway, the cop pulls into my driveway as well, and I didn't know who it was. I assumed it was like one of my friends because it was like pitch black out and I couldn't see anything, so I get out of the car and immediately the officer screams at the top of his lungs, "Get back in the car!" And at this point, I'm shook. I'm just standing there in front of my house, in front of my car, and this officer is sitting in the driveway with his hand on his holster, screaming at me to get back into the car. And so I do, and the officer comes up to my window, and we're literally parked right outside of my house, like in my driveway, and he says to me, "Do you know how fast you were going?" And immediately in my mind, I'm like, oh my god, I messed up. And I was like, I'm so sorry, officer. Like, I knew I messed up. I was kind of just ready to take whatever fate would have it. And so he goes, "License and registration and proof of insurance, please." I get my registration, I get my proof of insurance, and I realize I don't have my license. And my heart just dropped. I'm like, as if this isn't bad enough, my license is literally not here. And so I tell the officer, I'm like, "Sir, I'm so sorry. My license is literally inside." And I'm like freaking out at this point because I'm like, I'm worried I'm gonna go to jail or something. Like, I'd never gotten pulled over at that point, and I did something extremely stupid. And so the officer like takes one good look at me and he just sighs and he's like, "Do you have your phone?" And I go, "Yeah, I have my phone." What a weird question. And he goes, "Take out your phone." I'm like, "Okay." And so I take out my phone and he says, "Call your mom." And at this point, I'm like, oh my god, just take me to jail. Like, oh no. But I'm like, okay, yeah, I gotta do this, or else he's probably literally going to take me to jail. And so I get my mom on the phone and I'm like shaking as I'm speaking to my mom, and he goes, "Here, give me your phone." And he basically says, "This is Officer so-and-so from so-and-so, and I caught your son doing 71 miles per hour on your road in a 25-mile-per-hour zone." But in this moment, I felt awful. And so the officer gives me the phone back and he's like, "Talk to your mom." And so I talked to her and my mom was like, "I'm gonna kick your butt when I get home." And in my mind, I'm just like, wow, I have messed up so catastrophic. But the officer goes to me, "Son, you are so lucky," because he had just gotten off of his shift and he told me that he was ready to write me a ticket with the books on it, but he let me go. And in that moment, I'm like, wow, how is this even possible? But wait, it gets pretty awful. So he lets me go, right? And I go and I give the key to my coworker. They lock up the subway and I'm headed back to my friend's house. And as if I didn't learn my lesson already, I'm on a road that I thought was a 40. Apparently it was a 25. I don't want to call this road a speed trap. It was a speed trap. And I get pulled over again on the same night. Literally 20 minutes after this had just happened. I was going 39 in a 25. And at this point, I'm just done. Like, I don't even know what to do. Luckily, I had my license and that officer gave me a ticket. And well, when I told my mom about that, let's just say I got the butt kicking of a century.
Where are we at? Super rest, okay. Karen takes a tumble.
Malad, have you ever encountered a Karen outside of Subway? This is one of those stories that will always be a core memory to me. There was a night where I was in New York City with one of my best friends at the time, and he had an apartment in New York, and it must have been like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and we were extremely bored, and we thought it would be a great idea to go to Central Park, literally at like 10 o'clock at night. Don't do this. This was indeed an awful idea, but for some reason, as kids, we thought this would be a super fun thing to do. So we take the subway over, and we head to Central Park with literally nothing in mind to do. And as we get to Central Park, it starts to turn like pitch black out. Well, it was already pitch black, but like this ominous feeling started to set in, but we didn't mind it, so we went into Central Park, and there's this like really famous rock on Central Park, and we decided to go over there because my friend said that it was a great view of just like everything in the park, and it's a really quiet and secluded spot. I don't know, but we went to that rock and we just sat there, and then all of a sudden we hear people like laughing and talking, and there were these college kids, and mind you, we were in like late high school, we were nowhere near college, but there were these college kids that were coming out with like wine bottles in their hands and just like partying, I guess, and then they take one look at us and they're they're like, you two look like fun. Let's sit here with you guys. So we didn't really mind. I mean, like, we just talked to these random people. They were NYU students, pretty chill people. And they did their thing, hung out for a little bit, and they walked away. But then, just as we were about to leave, a woman walked over to the rock, and she was stumbling around and slurring her words, and was basically like, hey, you two kids, I'm a police officer. I'm taking you to jail. This obviously wasn't a police officer. This was just like some random drunk woman. And we were doing nothing, mind you. We were literally just sitting there talking, and this woman was ready to like kill us. She was like, you two are a couple of bad people. I don't like the way you guys look, and I'm gonna get you guys in trouble. And this lady was like crazy drunk, and me and my friend were basically like, okay, this is our cue to get out of here. But for some reason, my friend Nick likes to just like kind of mess with people that he thinks should be messed with. So he started fighting back, and he was like, why are you gonna take us to jail? Like, who are you, huh? And I'm like, oh my god, can we just leave? This is like the craziest situation. And well, this made the woman get very angry, and she started to call us misogynists and racists. This is typical New York for you. And at this moment, I was like, Nick, I'm leaving. I'm out. You can fight with this Karen all day for all I care, but I'm not staying around for the aftermath of this. And so he was like, all right, I'm out too. And we start to walk past her, and all of a sudden she's like, wait a second, you're not going anywhere. And well, she seemed to have slipped and fell right on her butt. And we made sure that she was okay, and she seemed fine, but she was even more angry than before. And so after we made sure that she was all right and Karen took a tumble, we ran away. Malad.
Okay. Where are we with this? So we're going to probably end it after one more video because I gotta... Oh, we're so close. Okay. Next time we do this, we will definitely do this. Because we are so close. So we will finish this video, then we're gonna go and end it for the night.
Mitochondria. Have you ever lost your identity? Well, one day I did lose my identity, and this is a day that forever changed my life. A little over a year ago, I started making videos on TikTok and YouTube where I would talk about my life working at my parents' Subway, and it evolved into this huge thing where I would start to answer questions from the comment section, and one day I was like, maybe these people should know what my name is. And by these people, I mean you, the beautiful viewer watching this right now. And so I decided to include Malad as the first word in whatever the comment I was picking was. So I scoured for like an hour to find any comment that used the word Malad in it, and I finally found one. So this became a theme on my channel. I would just use comments that had the first word as my name, Malad. But then one day, I saw a comment that used the word Millard. Now, in case you don't know, Millard is a nickname from my childhood that my friends used to call me, and I thought this was hilarious then, and I still think it's hilarious now, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use this as literally the comment for one of my videos. And so I go ahead and make the video and include my name as Millard in the video, and all of a sudden, I see this comment section filled with the word Millard. And people were so confused. They were like, who on earth is Millard? We don't know Millard, we know Malad. And I'm just sitting there like, aha, what have I done? And so I was gonna take this opportunity to just completely make this into a meme. So I saw one more comment that said something along the lines of like, my lord. And it was followed by a random question, and I was like, you know what? Let's do this again. And so I used that comment for the next video, and then everything just broke loose. Every single comment on that video was a different pronunciation of my name, just using the letter M. Some of my favorites are Mommy, Mitochondria, My Lord, Milliard, Millie Bobby Brown. Literally every name in the book you can think of that starts with the letter
Chat, you
M.
need to do this with me. I would have more fun reading the comments.
I saw an insane
I already
growth
have
in my
fun enough,
channel
but this will
from
just make it
literally
like 10
this
times
meme.
more
By the way,
fun.
right now I'm trying to hit 3 million subscribers, so if you like my videos and enjoy, please hit that red button and subscribe so we can hit it. And so as time goes on, my comment section just started to become filled with these different names, and then one major thing blew everything up. One of my friends on the platform, Dylan, he makes ice cream, and he made a video where he said my name like 8 times wrong. And because our audiences are very similar, it ended up making my audience just fuel the meme even further.
Oh,
and then,
no.
well, Mr. B said in a Colin and Samir podcast, Malad. And well, at that point, it just became like this thing. And now I don't even know what my real name is, so I can officially say I've completely lost my identity.
Chat, this is some good stuff. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna go and end it here because I have to go take a shower. I gotta pack as well for tomorrow. Gotta clean up the room a little bit more. I know I only got like 2 people in the stream who actually put something, well, technically 3, but I don't know anymore. We're gonna go and end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will not be streaming tomorrow night because I will be in Texas, and Tuesday night we'll have a buddy over here for New Year's. Sorry. And then Wednesday we will hopefully finish this series. Hopefully we get Malad. I've been talking with him one time. He said he'll join one of these times. I'm gonna pray that he'll actually join. It's the last episode of the series. We gotta get him. Gotta get him in one of these. I gotta turn this light off back here. It just made this room like 20 times more dark. Well, that's why, because one of the lights aren't switched all the way. Okay, yeah, alright. See you guys and have a great night.